And welcome back to Scav Talk, everyone. Today's episode, we're going to be catching you up on the Tarkov news this week, both within the Hardcore Wipe and outside of general Nikita BSG studio stuff. Then we're going to transition into flea market discussion. Giga's been having to think about that, something we wanted to talk about, so we're going to discuss that. Then we got Tarkov Lore Creators Edition. Very fun stuff. It's going to be a fun little segment. And then finally, 5 games to wishlist in 2025. And quick announcement, I have changed, as some of you visual viewers, video viewers may have noticed. I got a new name. It is Tara. You don't have to add the uwu. That is totally optional. But yeah, my name is Tara now, and going by she, her pronouns.
Excellent stuff. All right, so we have had a busy week in Tarkov land. I've actually ended up grinding more than I was expecting to, because I was trying to start slowing down a little bit, because the wipe it's a bit different this time, and usually I kind of get up to like the mid 25s and level 30s, and I'm like, okay, we can kind of start to chill, it's all good. But because of the way that this wipe is structured, it's made it a bit difficult, both between kind of like the trader levels and the hideout. So we'll take it from the beginning. So we've had 4 separate kind of step changes, I guess, starting on the 18th, which was, that was pretty much.
I think that was
that during the cast last time? I think it might be during the cast.
I think because we recorded early, it came like after we ended.
You are right, yes, because we recorded in the morning. And so BSG later that day, lots of people were complaining about ref, including me, because they jumped up from level no access to level 2 straight away. We talked about that quite a lot before. And so they did make some adjustments to the prices. There's been lots of people talking about this for various reasons. Some people saying like, oh no, it was fine. Why do they have to fuss with it? And other people being like, good, but it's still broken in this, that, and the other way. It's depends on your opinion about this stuff. I still think that they're trying to close the gate after the horse is bolted already, kind of thing. But it's something. It means that GP coins are less valuable. You need to be more thoughtful. And one of my issues with Arena previously, and the way the GP coin system worked, is that Lega medals were scarce for getting the key rooms and things like that, and like certain upgrades in Arena and also some upgrades in EFT. I don't think you can get anything outside of keys for Lega medals up until level 2 ref, so it doesn't really matter. But you can get things like Mark 18 Mjolnir and stuff like that later on, when they're more like fun stuff. Typically, it's not usually things that are like insanely OP in the base game for Legas normally. But the thing about GPs is that the price was so low and you got so many that they weren't really a scarce resource particularly. You just ended up having loads of them. Like it was only if you really were like hammering on them for every single kit that you would ever have any sort of scarcity on GPs whatsoever. So I actually kind of like now that they are much more restrictive. Like most of the guns on ref are now 100 GP coins, for example, which is a lot. And I think a daily you normally get somewhere between 20 to 30, 40-ish. I think it might depend on level, but you basically got to do all your dailies to buy one gun over on Arena now. Over on the base game from ref, which is fine because you get the dailies every day and you get a weekly as well. You now got to sort of choose what you use them on. You have these special Arena points which you then choose on stuff. If you can just kind of buy anything you like, it's a bit stupid. It's like they released Ref 2, and based on the points that people had accumulated up until that point, everyone was just like, I will be having a med case, a grenade case, an ammo case, in this case, and that case, and that case, and that case, and that case, and any stuff that I like as well from Ref. So it was just like, you could just buy whatever, right? It was just not scarce enough. So I think this is definitely better. Still disagree with the Ref 2 thing because of the whole Ragman isn't here yet, which is the last trader to unlock, which we haven't had unlocked. Gives you access to class 4, but it kind of is what it is at this point. It's kind of fine. Along with that change, they reduced the boss spawn chance to 50%, so you tend to see a lot less people just wearing Tagilla gear around. I ran into one the other day, but that was on factory, to be fair. It was like the wombo combo. It was a guy with Tagilla face cover on with the killer armor. I was like, oh no. I tried to piranha him and he didn't want to die. But yeah, so there's a little bit less of boss farming. A lot of people, again, on this one have said the reduction to 50% from 70% is kind of like, okay. Like the real answer is to change the kits, right? Not to just fuss with the spawns, but 50 is still fine. I don't really care too much. So that was the reaction that they had to the community. So not much else to say on that really. And then on the 21st, so that was Monday, we then got our next level 2 trader. So we got Mr. Mechanic, who got unlocked. And they increased the chance for airdrops, which is quite fun. There's more airdrops in game now if you want to go and raid those. But he's opened up Signal and a few of the other quests that you can only do through mechanic, which is kind of cool. I think I think you were locked on Gunsmith. I think you could only get to Gunsmith 7 or something before, but now you can get further along the line. I'm not sure exactly how far because the Gunsmiths are quite tricky, which maybe we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, Mechanic 2 is good. I'm actually I've nearly finished this. What I was just doing beforehand, I was doing this video about Mechanic, Peacekeeper, and Skier, and there's some good stuff about him that it's interesting when they unlock, because a lot of people were asking in chat oh, what's been unlocked with the new trade. I'm like, it's exactly the same as last. There may be one thing missing, but the traded kits or what their shop, it's exactly the same. But because of the context of the wipe, you look at it in a completely different way, which is really fascinating, right? It's there's not many suppressors that you can get in the game, but with Mechanic 4 or with Mechanic 2 opening up, you could do the 4 Rambarter and get hybrid 46s, and they fit on almost everything.
Yeah.
It's actually that's kind of cool. RAM is quite easy to get. You need 4 of them. Okay, I can use these for Gunsmith. Oh, I can use them actually to go on an RFB. I can use them to go on an SKS. I can use them to go on, an M4, an ADAR. I think I was running an ADAR with a hybrid 46 at one point, which is just you just never see, right? You just never see that. So it's quite cool. So there's that, and then you got the 2 Magnet Barter for the 762 suppressor, which again you'd never normally do. So it's fun seeing some of these things.
What
and
is
again,
that?
There's things about Barters too.
762. Which one is it? Is it the?
It's the Rotor one, so not a good one. But it's 2 magnets for the Rotor 762 by 39 suppressor. So it's the one that goes specifically on the AKM and the 762-100 line, the 103, 104, that kind of thing. It doesn't go on the SKS, unfortunately. But it's still decent for those guns.
Yeah.
And those guns are pretty powerful because you can get PS and T45 and stuff like that in raid, so it's pretty good. So yeah, that's quite fun. And he's got a whole bunch of different bars as well. There's 2 WDs for a pistol that comes with a red dot on it. I think we've had lots of conversations with my chat and over the last week, and we'll talk about this a bit more in the flea market section. But just the whole way you've had to think about the game is just crazy. It's changed a lot of stuff actually and we're getting used to it too, right? There's a lot of the things that you would originally do and want to take out of the raid, and you get out and you're like, oh, well, I actually already had enough food. Okay, well, maybe I'll sell it. Oh, it sells for 3,000 rubles. Damn, I should have just not have even taken this. I should have taken some random ass thing that barters for something.
Yeah.
Because then you can you can sell it or whatever. So the mechanic's good for that because there's lots of random ones. There's one that's a lot of people looking for Mosin to do the Tarkov shooter quests and stuff like that.
Oh right, because you can't get them really. I think she could do a prepper trade, but that's really annoying.
It's $1 billion batteries, so it's really annoying. And it's really inefficient because you have to have so many of them. And you can just buy the normal one, but it's not like the sniper. You can't put the sniper stuff on it. But there's a really weird. It looks like a meme. There's a meme barter on Mechanic 2, which you've probably seen. And it's the one. It's the sniper Obrez.
Yeah.
And you give him a packet of cigarettes, a Mosin stock, and a barrel. And then you get this tiny Obrez, but it's technically because with Tarkov it's that the lower receiver dictates the whole gun, and so that gives you a Mosin sniper. Yes, it's the Obrez configuration, but it gives you a Mosin sniper, and it comes with a tri-rail as well. So what you could do from that point is you've already bought the barrel and the stock, and give him the Wilston. So all you have to do, because you can buy those 2 parts from the traders too. So that's the important part. So you take 1 Wilston out in your secure container, and you can buy the other bits from the traders for 12k. I think it is hardly anything. You give it to Mechanic, and originally I was like, oh, you could just sell this to one of the traders for 12k. So you just basically get free rep. But the thing is, if you go into the modding screen, you could put a new barrel on. You can basically buy the same barrel that you did the barter with. Again, the 730mm barrel. And because you get the tri-rail, you could put the tri-rail back on, and then you can use any scope you like. So you're like, oh, now I actually have a full Mosin sniper with the tri-rail. So I could put a TAC 30 on this baby.
Do you keep the Obrez lower stock, or can you put a regular? I can't remember.
You could put a regular one in if you really want to. I don't think there's actually much point. It depends whether you're suppressing it or not, I think.
Yeah.
And then again, you could use the hybrid 40. Yeah, it does. It's the needle, It's this tiny little wooden sawn-off stock with a huge long barrel coming out. It's super funny. And so you can suppress it. Now, most people think oh, the Mosin, okay, the Bramit, but the Bramit's stuck. It's like 2 Iskras
Yeah.
on Jaeger 3 or something. So like no one has access to this. But there's these funny attachments you can put on. You can put like the Tiger Thread adapter, and I can't remember exactly who it is, but I have all the traders at level 2 except for Ragman because he's not out yet. And I can buy it. I can't remember which one it was, but you can buy it. And on there, you can then use the Hybrid 46, for example. And I think you can also you might be able to use mechanics like Magnet Barter. I think that one might actually fit because it's a 762
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
39 adapter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually other ways to do it. So like it's one of these things. I like this kind of stuff, right? And it
I know.
makes
I was gonna comment.
interesting.
You were just like did a glow up when you started talking about. Then you get this pack of cigarettes and the barrel and the stock.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so efficient because you take one pack of Wilstons out, and bam, you've got yourself a sniper most. You can only do so. The downside is you can only do one of these barters every mechanic reset. A mechanic reset's like 8 hours or 9 hours now. It's crazy. The reset is so
they doubled
long.
it.
They made it, yeah. They like doubled it or did whatever to it. It's like
Dang.
hugely long. So I did because I not yesterday, but the 2 days before, I actually streamed twice. And on one of them, I came back and was just like, okay, we're gonna do this mechanic. Oh no, he's still on cooldown from when I played earlier. Oh, never mind.
Oh man. I mean, in some ways, is that kind of better because then you feel less incentivized to camp the traders, or is it just more inconvenient?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe they up the stock.
That's the thing. Like most of the time, it doesn't matter too much because you've got 2 or 3. But with the ones that are just 1, that one they do feel quite restrictive, especially if you're probably getting 2 per day. If it's on like an 8-hour cycle, say, well, I could get 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, then I'm probably asleep for the last one. So, it's like it's quite restrictive. I've been doing. I'll talk about that in a second, actually. So yeah, so mechanic's interesting. He's got lots of barters, lots of things to look out for. Then on the 23rd.
Well, wait, one more thing about mechanic. Does this
okay.
now imply that you can do workbench 2 stuff?
Good point. Yes. However, you need to find 4 drills for that bad boy.
Oh my, okay.
And some people have found them easy. Some people, namely me, I'm pointing myself
this time
for the audio listeners, have not found them. Did not find them. It was hard. It was hard to. I spent so long. I just ground over and over. Scav, PMC, like people telling me like, oh no, you should go to the shoreline. Camp place. I've been there, like fought people. It's like complete. It's like the Battle of the Somme up there because everyone's trying to get hideout stuff. Like, oh no, go to streets and loot finding cabinets. Like, done that. You've a million times killed by a guy in the next door corridor is completely silent. Like, I'm just going insane. Like, loads of people saying, oh, customs actually. I genuinely think after playing all the areas that people have said have a high spawn chance. So, streets finding cabinets, the shoreline, like special loot area, the smugglers camp.
What's the shoreline?
It was funny. We had this conversation as well. Just like
the little island, Scav Island.
So no, the smugglers base.
I don't know if I know this.
So it's the one that people, because I forgot the name of it. People in chat were just like, we should really come up with a new name for this place other than just the new area on shoreline, which is usually
like
but
the
it's
farm.
been out for like 3 wipes. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha.
People call it Smuggler's Base or Smuggler Camp or something. I think Skier calls it Smuggler Camp in one of the quests, so a lot of people call it Smuggler Camp. I'd forgotten. I just call it the new area, but it's been out for like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
It's like not really new. There's like people who've picked up the game, played 1,000 hours since that's been added. So you should probably call it something different. But anyway, I mean, it's just like, because that's like the area on shoreline and the rest of shoreline is the resort. It's just like you kill one person, there's someone else coming in. Like it's just a mess. Yeah. It's actually just a mess around there. And you can only really do it as well if you spawn at the Road to Customs spawn. Because if you spawn anywhere else, the Road to Customs guy's probably there first, or you're just freaking miles away,
Yeah.
You're like all the way down at like tunnel. It's just like not really possible. So I was kind of like using some of the routes that, I tried to do stuff chat tells me to sometimes, because I'm like, if it's not something I'd usually do, I'll give it a go. Like some people were like, oh, if I spawn at Road to Customs, I'll go up there and contest it. If I don't, I'll loot the village and go up past the lighthouse because it's quick. And then I get to have another try, I'll get something and then leave.
Yeah.
And you get to hit the jackets and hit the toolboxes and whatnot. Anyway, long story short, I do think that Customs probably is the best place. Customs seems to have a very high spawn rate for drills comparatively to other places. And then the industrial loot is very dense in the new buildings in particular. So you've got like a new ratty building that looks over the Customs bridge. That building is really good. It's great as scav as well because it's not often looted. I found it not been looted actually hardly at all, even as they're turning up as a scav with 15 minutes to go and like all the toolboxes are full, all the duffels are full. Like it's crazy. I think because because it's quite scary to be around there early. Lots of people want to be in there, and people are kind of going through questing, going to
High
dorms,
traffic
going to other
area
places.
too.
Quite high traffic, so there. But then you've also got the area over by the extract over by Scav checkpoint and far corner and those kind of areas, like the traditional factory area of customs.
Yeah.
Over by ZBO 12 or whatever it's called, the original extract. So over in those buildings, those are also quite, because again, there's some toolboxes, there's some stashes around that sort of area as well. So that's pretty decent. I think I found one basically until I really started target farming this thing, and I think I found the other two both there in customs. I didn't find any in the smuggler's base. I didn't find any on streets in any filing cabinets, and I found both in customs. I think I did get a bit unlucky, and then I got the last one because you get one for doing Gunsmith 7. So I was like, I'll just keep making the Gunsmith videos until we get to Gunsmith 7, so I can get the final one. But the main issue that you have is you have to choose between. You need 6 for level 2 hideout. You need 4 for the workbench, and you need 2 for the lavatory. So you get this you get to this.
You have to have lavatory 2 as well.
You don't need it. So you get to choose. So I was like, well, I got to the point where I had 2 already.
I see.
And I was like, do I just do lavatory 2? That's going to allow me to complete ice cream cones because I can't make the 60 rounders. Or do I wait for all 4? Do workbench 2 because that's actually going to block other hideout modules.
Right.
Like what? So I did end up doing workbench 2. I think workbench 2 is stronger. I'm not that bothered about doing the rest of Prapor's quest line. I don't really care that much because people would normally do it when you've got Alpha Container and you want to go and get the Epsilon, but that's sort of been usurped by Arena as well because you can go and do the Theta quest, which is easier than doing Punisher Part 6. Although a side note on that, I've been asked like 300 million times in chat as well about there's one quest near the end where you need to access a room called Overseer's Room, which is in Dorms 3, and the key for that has a few hard spawns in Shoreline Smuggler's base of all places, and this wipe it doesn't. So people have been trying to farm it and they just haven't seen it. So it's people are getting to the end of the Theta quest line but can't finish it because they can't find the Overseer's key room, and so people are asking other people, like, have you got it, who's got it, because it seems like it does spawn in the Shoreline loot pool. So if you're looting scavs, filing cabinets, that kind of thing, you can find it there, but it's not in the hard spawns that it used to be in last wipe. So people are getting near the end and getting stuck. So Theta quest line is maybe a bit iffy at the moment. But either way, I didn't really care too much. So I was like, fine, we'll go for workbench because it's the harder one. That gate keeps more modules in the hideout than anything else, and you can also make some cool ammo in there. I'm probably going to do some content about that at some point once I've had a look through. But
I was curious about that. That sounds like you got some R&D to do.
A little bit, yeah. It's like I was looking through it on the stream, and you can make blue powder with Jaeger HP ammo. You can make green powder with M67 grenades and smoke grenades. So you do need to find Zibbos until Peacekeeper 3. But you can make the greens that way. And then you can make reds some other way. I don't remember. So you can affect, I think maybe you need matches or something. So with Zibbos and matches, you can make all 3 flavors. And then you can make kind of whatever you like. This is very roughly. I think you can turn blues into BCP FMJ, which is 37 pen now. It's pretty good. So for 762. So that fits with the RFB nicely. And then you can make SOST ammo, which is better than M855. We can't buy that right now because we're not a PC with 3, so that's actually quite a good one. So there's a few in there that are kind of neat for Workbench 2 that's useful in actual raids as opposed to just, I'm going to use the Laboratory 2 to complete quests and whatnot. It's again, it's trying to shift our mind a bit to well, what do I want to do? Do I want to step one step further through Prapor's quest line, or do I want to be able to craft myself 33 pen 556 ammo that unlocks a whole category of guns that I'm just not able to use right now because I've run out of 855 that you start with as a USEC, and I can't buy any more. I'm maybe getting a box of 30 or 100 maybe if I'm lucky, and then you play 1 or 2 raids with an M4 or an a G36 or whatever it might be, or an AUG, and the zoom it's gone again. So you're well, it's kind of hard to find, and there's no barters for you. Can't get it anywhere. It's no way you can buy it. You can't make it. You have to make do with 556 FMJ that you find off scavs with ADARs, but that's kind of sucks. 18 pen or something. I can't remember exactly. It's just not good. When it struggles with an UNTAR vest, you're not sure about this. It's a bit tricky.
Yeah, it's hard. I feel the same. It's like, oh man, this is like worse than PST. I don't like this is like me using a submachine gun, but it's in a single fire rifle. Like, why would I ever? Like, it just feels awful.
Yeah, exactly. And then you contrast that to the fact that I look at my stash right now, and it's like 40 rounds of M855A1 that I got off a player, 20 rounds of M855, and then 300 rounds of 545 BP, 300 rounds of PP, 90 rounds of BS. I've got like 40 rounds of like F7M40 or whatever. I'm just like, the game's really telling me I should be using 545 guns right now. It's
I
like,
mean, is that a product of the loopholes, or is that a product of
yeah.
like player? Okay,
It's the loophole. It's just that you just find way more of it. You just
I thought
like
that was the
boxes of
case, but I
BP,
didn't
boxes
know
of
if they changed it.
Nah, it's the same for this wipe. But I mean, it's fine. I don't mind. It's okay. That's kind of the way it should be, sort of. I don't mind like the NATO stuff being a bit more rare. It's sort of in keeping
Yeah.
with the law. It means that when those guns are typically seen as superior, right? In general, like once if you give them the ammo and you give them the mods or whatever, like the AKs are cheaper to run, cheaper to mod, and in this wipe that kind of matters. So I sort of don't mind. It's like, when you run an M4, you're like, I had a beautiful M4. I had people coming in just being like, they were like, did you get all this stuff? Like, did you use ref for this stuff? And I was just like, no, man, this thing is all fan in raid. It's beautiful. Just like LPVO, M4 with the AX15 upper. Like I had a suppressor on this thing. Like I used Mechanic 2 to turn it into, it was an ADAR originally, turned it into an M4, or every single piece. I assembled.
I want to see it.
I assembled it. And I had my class 5 Corundon that I found as a scav, with, I can't remember what I had on, a class 4 helmet or something, and I was in bloody smuggler's base of all places, and I got killed by somebody entirely silent who'd killed Sanitar and just went straight through my thorax with BS rounds out of some crap AK with a undevoured GL on it, and I was like,
I hit it.
I didn't even get to shoot it.
Dang.
He just found he had Partisan's gun, had the best ammo, and just went boop, boop, 2 shots through the Corund. That's it. I'm dead. I mean,
that's literally Tarkov in a nutshell.
I know.
I
I had one the other day as well. Like I had a beautiful AK, like ran out into streets. Most in man just turns up, bam, straight through the jaws. Again, class 5 armor, class 4 helmet, like straight through the jaws with like.
Yeah, that sucks.
I had LPS. In fairness, I'd like look at the guys like Prestige 1 or whatever, just like running around naked with the most. And I'm like, fair enough. He's a good shot. It's what it is.
You gotta remember, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey. All right, the value is in assembling all that stuff. Okay, we don't focus on using it. The death. Yeah,
and then having people come into chat and being just like, ah! The thing is though, if that's all fine and it feels bad when you don't actually like fire the gun, it does. When you assemble the thing, you spend. It's like you spend
labor for days. You do all this stuff. Yeah, multiple raids. Yeah, no, yeah,
it's a bit sad, and you're like, and all the gear as well, like the class 5 stuff, whatever, and then you just get like beamed by something. It's just like, man, it's annoying. Anyway,
what day was that you died at the M4? Because I really want to see it, Giga. I'm scrolled through the VODs.
I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. I haven't run the M4 that much, so hopefully I kept it. Let's see, M4.
Oh, you might.
One? I don't think I've labeled it. I'd have to go and. I don't have this sorted by date. That's the issue.
Oh, it's fine. I didn't know if you knew off the top of your head, like if it was like yesterday or the day before.
No, I don't know which date it was.
It's all good then.
I mean, I must not have kept it because I just like died straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've done so many streams. I'm not.
Yeah, no, you've been doing like double. I saw you streamed morning and then evening.
So that was basically what I was going to talk about with this. Then the which one was this? Oh yeah, the 23rd change. So the change on the 23rd was opening up Peacekeeper level 2, and this is the reason why I've been like grinding so much. I think I'm level 31 or something now, which is probably the fastest. I mean, I'm doing arena dailies as well, so it's probably the fastest I've got up to this level. And I've been still pretty intense about what I've been doing because of firstly the drills thing, right? Like I want to make content about these things, but I don't really want to do it without having it and like being able to look through. It's just annoying. And like, what if something's not there? What if something's wrong? Like, it's like hard to take screenshots for people. So finding drills has just been really painful. And the second part, Peacekeeper level 2, this has been the bane of most people's existence. they've opened up Peacekeeper 2, and most people just can't get it. It's like 30. I think we maybe talked about this before, but it's like $33,000 for Peacekeeper 2.
Oh yeah, the money you gotta spend.
It's an absurd. It's an absurd amount of money. It's like it's 5 million rubles, bearing in mind that the purchase prices from the traders is so low. You know, so you got like that. It only contributes. You sell a whole MP5 for him for $100, for example. So you've got to do that. What? 50, I don't even know. Like it's like 10. I think 300 times or something. I don't know. It's something stupid. So you have to kind of. This is partly why I've ended up like. This is fed into the mentality shift. So Peacekeeper will only buy certain things. This kind of became a problem in and of itself. Like get to Peacekeeper 2. That was like my new challenge, along with finding drills. So the issue is, well, a lot of the high value stuff, he doesn't buy. You know, he didn't buy anything, right? He
and
buys
what's high value now? This swipe, or just valuables in general.
Well, yeah, I guess, and like some food, and certain things like you could like certain stuff is still good, like ratchet wrenches and things like that. They're still like 50k, or like bottles of moonshine, or like 90k to therapists.
I guess whatever was good last swipe to the traders would be the same. It's just you get less
broadly, but like Peacekeeper doesn't buy anything.
Yeah, it's like
and so
gear and is it like
the
weapons?
Kind of. Yeah, he does buy weapons too. But but that's the thing. It's like how many weapons are you taking out of raid? Like not many. And the attachments don't sell for very much because they're typically not that. The base price is typically not that expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And like yes, Intel items are really good, so you can sell them SSDs and SAS drives and that kind of thing. But you got to hit safes for that, and the safes are they're quite contested. People are going for them for sure because you can put that stuff in your secure container and still sell it to him. So like it's valuable. I could have done a bit more of that, but it meant that I then wasn't looking for drills. You see, I had this like dual mandates to try and like get stuff because I'm actually in a quite fortunate position. I've got 2 of the keys for Dorms 3 safes, and I've got the 2 keys opposite each other for Dorms 2 as well for the safe. So it's actually all right. But yeah, so it ended up becoming this like weird thing where I'm like, okay, I'm going to raid and I'm looting lots of tool stuff. So I'm like basically trying to find tools which I can then barter for things that Peacekeeper will sell. So, or buy, I should say. So he won't buy a bolt, for example, but he will buy an APS pistol, which barters for a bolt.
Yeah.
He won't buy a nut, but he will buy a PM pistol. He won't buy a spark plug, but he will buy a PSO scope, which barters for 2 spark plugs. So I've just been like, okay, what can I barter for things that Peacekeeper will buy? Then I will loot those things.
I love
and then
this.
I will turn them into barters and I will sell them to him. That's how I started doing the Mosin one, because I started doing the Mosin thing with Mechanic and then selling it to Peacekeeper to try and get some reputation. So we've ended up with like all the tricks. I sold him. So I mean, I got a Bitcoin. Like, honestly, some of the lengths that we've gone to this swipe to get like trader reputation, because it seems to be like the biggest limitation in many ways. Like most traders for level 2 is like 2.4 million. Most of them are around that region, and you got to do that with all of them. Peacekeeper, Jaeger, the therapist doesn't matter because you buy the junk box from her. So, and this is what makes it even worse, right? It's like because therapist, you already have the rep you need because you've bought the junk box because the junk box is 1.8 million. So you don't need rep with her, but she's the one who pays the most. You're just like, damn, like I just want some cash, but like the other guys are like 20% lower than her, and she's already on like 30% lower than it used to be. You're like, oh, but I don't want to sell to him because I've already got enough rep. It's like it's so bad. So you end up getting less money because you're selling to the other traders. It's just awful. So you got to do that with like prep, like all of them basically, and then Peacekeeper's out there being like, yo, bud, I want 5 mil instead, and I'm going to give you dollars back for it. So I'm in this like horrible situation where I've got like 1.5 million rubles worth of dollars and like no rubles at all. I'm just like scrounging super hard and people are like, oh, you could just like buy stuff from Peacekeeper and sell it to the other traders. I'm just like, yeah, I'd like take an 80% loss. Like what kind of trade is that? Like I buy an MP5 for $450 from Peacekeeper, which is like 60 grand, and they sell it for like 12k to Prep Boys. Like, oh, that's like, it's awful. It's such bad value.
At the bare minimum, though, you could assemble. I think he has I don't think he has every component. Like he probably would need like ears, for example. But I think. Well, I guess you're still at Peacekeeper 1, so no, actually, I take that back. But anyways, you could probably buy a very bad kit. Like you could get like the what is it? Not the S March, but the thing that stops the heavy bleeds.
You can buy the Cat Tourniquet. They're $100 USD.
I mean,
So that costs you each time you buy one of those, it costs you 15 grand. What?
But you got all this. You're swimming in the USD. You might as well just keep investing in Peacekeeper.
It's like, sure, but I don't want to like waste it either. You know, it's like buying Captain on a case is fine, right? Because you're going to buy an S March anyway, otherwise, right?
Yeah.
So, and you get the shortened time, like it's 3 seconds rather than 5. There's some value there. I did do that for some of it. Yeah, we've been pulling all the tricks out. So like, irrespective of Peacekeeper, because I was looking at mechanic, so I managed to get 2 Tetrises to go with my 3 green batteries. So when mechanic 2 opened up, I bought myself a Bitcoin, and I was like, hey, this is cool. And someone in chat had a genius idea, and they were like, isn't there a recipe in the cult circle for the Bitcoin? And you put the Bitcoin in and you get 2 Tetrises and 2 green batteries out. And I was like, why the hell would I do that? That seems like really counterintuitive. What's the point of that? And they were like, no, you're misunderstanding. They were like, you're going to get a load of free mechanic rep because you're going to turn it back into the barters, and then next reset you're going to barter for a Bitcoin again. And the Bitcoins, the barters count towards the money spent at their full value.
I didn't know that.
And I was like, that's genius. So we basically like waited the full cycle, like it was like 11 hours or something to turn the Bitcoin back into 2 Tetrises and a green battery. Did the barter again with mechanic, got a second Bitcoin, and then I was like, there's a right answer to this, chat. I'm just not sure if I'm ready to do this, which is to sell the Bitcoin to Peacekeeper. I really do not want to. I want to take my 600k.
Will he buy it?
He will, for like $4,500 US dollars. So the value is about the same, but in dollars. So I was like, I'm not really losing anything, but I was like, I know what I have to do, but I'm not sure if I have the strength to do it, that kind of situation. So I did sell it to Peacekeeper because like for adding 4,500 to like 33k limit, that's a lot. So that goes a long way towards getting up the levels. So I did do it at the end. So I ended up with like a ton of USD. Like some of the other tricks were so do you remember the Cult Circle? I don't think you played a lot with when the Cult Circle was in. So the Cultist Circle has like weird mechanics. So there's certain thresholds. If you meet thresholds with the inputs, then you get certain things. So you put crap in, you get crap out. Different lengths of timer dictate sort of the pool of items you might get back. Sometimes you get lucky, get good stuff, even if you put in rubbish. Most of the time, you just get average things. There's 2 special thresholds, the highest of which is the 400k threshold. I have no idea what it is now because the whole calculation has been blown out by the trader changes. But basically, the idea is if you put in 400k's worth of base value, which has always been some kind of, it's some mysterious calculation. People have worked it out. I can never remember the exact details, no matter how many times I look at it for whatever reason. Then you get the highest sort of circle of loot pool, which is 75% of the time you get a 14-hour high loot, return, which is cool. And it can give you anything. I think a tank battery and stuff like that, a moonshine, whatever. You can get good stuff. 25% of the time you get the quest item or hideout item for free that you need. Something is in your active quest or active hideout item. So that's pretty good. Now, because of what they've done to the trader values, right, it's something weird. So the base prices, it must be the implied base price of all the items has like gone through the roof because they've like changed all of the multipliers. So everything sells for like everything's really expensive when you try to buy it. So the base price is like really high.
Right,
I know it's really weird.
Right.
I don't know what they've done exactly. So if you put 5 MP5s into the cult circle, you hit the 400k values mark.
Oh my god, I love the spaghetti code spiderweb intersecting. It's like unintentional consequences. I love it.
So we're over here. I'm like bartering bolts, bartering nuts, spark plugs. We're putting bitcoins through the cult circle, multiple loops. We've got 5 MP5s going in. We've got stuff coming out.
Like I got all this USD, grabbing MP5s in the circle. Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've got loads of dollars. We will buy the MP5s. So I'm not selling them. I'm putting them in the cult circle. That's giving me a good run. It's like, this is working out. This is working out. So that's basically why I've ended up spending so many hours on stream, like getting the money, getting the items to do the things to sell to Peacekeeper to get him to level 2. Oh my god! So it's been a bit of a mess, and then you get the 33k, and it's just like, Peacekeeper 2 unlocked. Next level, $75,000. Oh no! So we're gonna have to do that for Peacekeeper 3, but hopefully there's a bit of lead time before we do that. And,
dichotomy between like expectation and reality here. It's like the Tarkov 1.0 trail comes out, and everyone's thinking, oh my god, it's gonna be like some really gritty, guy in the trenches or whatever. And it's like, nah, just someone's in their hideout stash, just flipping stuff back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, meanwhile, right, I did actually buy a second scav junk box. As you could probably imagine, I still have like 10 working squares, like regardless of how much space I've got in there. Like it just doesn't even make any difference. You know, it's
Oh,
actually
did you
probably
buy the
it's a bit
stash
better now,
lines?
but no, not yet. I haven't done anything yet. I've not lost any
Okay,
stash lines. I've not done any ref or anything. Like my account is just like frozen in Tarkov world for the time being. So
gotcha.
we'll see. I had to tickle over 20 GPs so I could test Gunsmith Part 5 build for the video.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that I did with GPs and ref, because I was just like, I'm not letting it get in the way of like making the content, right? Like,
Sure.
so you know, that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not diminishing my experience. I've got to do this to prove, because if I say it works, then it freaking doesn't. I'm just never going to hear the end of it. So, because I
Yeah.
do actually, it's one of those things you play enough over the wipes, and you see an item, and you're just like, my gunsmith sense is tingling. This is a gunsmith piece,
Yeah.
So I have almost everything I need for most of the gunsmiths. So I think
Oh,
I'm
wow.
probably stuck on the next one. So I've got up to gunsmith 8. Yeah, Gunsmith 8
Do you have
without,
all the vector
with all the
parts?
parts.
Or has that
I haven't
changed?
got to that one yet. I haven't got to
Okay.
that one yet.
That
So
was the one
we're
that
entering
always
danger
gets me.
territory. Yeah, so they've put a lot of the vector parts on the traders now, so it's a lot
Yeah,
easier. So
I
you've got the
think I
little
remember that.
rail thing. Like, there's a few barters that they've changed. Yeah, so the next
Okay.
one is the pistol, I think. So that's easy. But then it's the AK-105. Don't have one of those. Can't buy one of those. It's like, okay, not sure about that. And I was like, okay, what's next? And it's just like, oh no, it's the vector next. And look at the next one. Like, oh no, it's okay. I don't have that gun either. I'm like, oh, I don't have that gun
Yeah.
either. So like, now I'm starting to get into the danger zone. But I've got I've kept like a VSS. I've kept a DVL. I've kept, like, every time I run into one of these things, I've typically kept it. But I just haven't seen a 9mm vector. Just haven't seen one. So anyway, so it's certainly been interesting getting to Peacekeeper 2. He is underwhelming for the amount of effort, is what
Yeah, I
I
was
would
gonna
say.
say. I mean, it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like now you get all this cash, and then you unlock it. It's like, well, okay, I can. I mean, what you can get like a G36C, I guess. It's probably
Yeah,
you could buy different AUGs. I think you can get or maybe you can now take off the crappy scope and put like something less crappy, right?
I'm not even sure if you can. That might be for
Oh,
Peacekeeper 3, but you can buy an ACOG if you want.
we're really,
You
we're
know,
really grasping for straws here.
there's a couple of things there. There's a few okay barters for bags and stuff, because like we still can't buy any bags. Ragman's still level 1, so you
Mm.
can buy a day pack in dollars. So that's actually
Oh, okay,
quite
that's pretty
useful.
nice. Yeah,
And you could do hard drive plus DVD equals day pack as well. So it gives you something better than the MBSS hard drive on its own
yeah.
barter. So that's quite good. But there's a few things, you can buy like a class 3
I guess
untie helmet from him if you really want to in dollars. But
I guess you could
there's no
get.
ammo, right? You just
Oh yeah, there's no ammo.
well, like you just go out and you're like, oh, I've finally like Peacekeeper. Oh, it's like 9mm PST. It's just like I could buy that on like Prepper
Man,
already or mechanics. Like,
this is
dude,
just
the only thing that's
crazy.
any good is R37X, like the second best P90 ammo. But you can't buy a P90. It's a barter for
Yeah,
2 military cables. Well, I've only got one of those, so I can't buy a P90. So
yeah.
that's out.
And then what are you
So
gonna do
it's
with the
quite limited.
mags? Can you
You
even
can
get?
buy the mags from him at Peacekeeper 2.
You
You
can.
can.
Okay.
You can. So you can buy them. So that's okay.
Okay.
I would say he's probably the least useful, and this is the biggest thing, right? Just for anybody who's like wondering and imagining if they're not playing the white particularly or whatever, and just listening and thinking like Gig is going completely insane. Like, you can't buy USD from Peacekeeper. I think we talked about this before, but you can't. This is the biggest thing.
Mm,
Usually, you would just buy the dollars
right.
because that's
Problem
what's money
solved.
spent. BSG took it away, so you have to do all this, dancing around the houses to get the money spent with him, because you can't. Like, that's usually what I do, right? It's like usually I think it's what, like 10,000 USD or something, and I'm just like, I'll just buy the dollars, and then you get to Friend for the West Part 2, and then you give him the dollars back, and that's kind of it. It's easy. Whereas now you got to do all this stuff. So yeah, he's not that useful, but it's good to have him anyway. Like, there's certain things that are good on him.
I wanted to ask you a question, but it might be more relevant for a later segment, so I'll let you be the judge of that. Do you find that the process of looting nuts and then exchanging it for a pistol, like I guess in your case you're using it to then sell the Peacekeeper, but like has any of that been like super brain tingling, like bartering, using all the barters for like actual kits and not like buying teapots at the flea market to flip rigs and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think the most. I mean, it's nice for a certain type of player, and I'm that kind of player that likes doing that kind of thing.
That makes sense.
And the ones that I like the most were doing the scab backpack crafts, so you pick up blue tapes. It's just like it's remembering, right? It's the knowledge gap of being in raid and going, what is blue
Yeah.
tape? Oh, I can use that for doing this. And is that more valuable than doing this? And when you've got it all in your head, it's like the matrix of all of the interconnections between all the things.
Yeah.
I like that. And there's people that don't play like that and don't find that interesting. But for those that do, I think it is good. And you go, well, I've had a grand juice. That means that then I can get the front plate for the press armor, and then I combine that with the two other things that I can make, and then the two fabrics. I turn the slickers into scab vest and the ripstop, and then I can turn that into a new press armor. So I've got a class 3 armor at least, so I don't have to either buy something really expensive that's mediocre and or get a packer that sucks. At least I can keep using class 3. So that's like I quite like that, and like but getting the scab backpacks. A lot of it's been in the workbench and the lavatory actually, rather than the barters themselves. Although I've done the hybrid 46 unironically to use that on an actual gun. I've bartered for the MBSS a couple of times. It's mainly gear rather than like guns, because most of the time I have guns.
Yeah.
Usually, or I end up buying. To be honest, I probably there's some that I've only realised that are good now after doing the video, because I spent the time sat down and went through them all, right. Which on the stream I was just like trying to like go do peacekeeper stuff. So I'm just like, oh, I've got loads of 545, so I'll just go and buy like an AK from Prapor and just like mod it, do a very basic mod. But then after a bit more thought, I'm just like, okay, you can buy a VPO 209 from Mechanic 2, a base. You could spend that's for 30k. You can spend 5k on it and make it work. You could put that through the workbench and get 2 weapons parts. For 3 weapons parts, you can get a kitted out SKS. That costs you about 45k. A base SKS from Jaeger, like just the tan one, costs 50k. So it's cheaper to get like the fully modded one from Mechanic than it is to. But you got to put the time in, right, to do the weapons parts.
Right.
I was crafting weapons parts to try and get my workbench up, so like I just hadn't really thought about it. So there are some really good ones out there. So again, you just got to think about it and look through and figure it out. And that's kind of what the videos are for, like showing people what's available. But until I do it, I don't know either, because I've forgotten.
Yeah.
You got to look through the whole thing in a different lens, because when you do that part, I don't usually use the SKS. It's like,
I could see the average player being like, I can't bother faffing about all this like stuff. I'm just trying to like survive a raid, and it's almost like if Tarkov were to do more accessibility stuff, like if you just had like a codex or something when you looted an item, and it just like you could like maybe like you could expand it and see like the tree branch of all the things it's related to or something, or maybe it's only like crafts limited to like crafts and barters or something. But I could see that, because I'm kind of similar like you. I like this type of stuff, so it would be something I would prioritize.
It's like people in chat saying like, I've never felt good taking a hard drive out of raid. Now I can take out 2, make them into magnets, trade them for a 762 suppressor that I can't get otherwise. It's like, and this is the thing, you're thinking of all the things. It's like, oh, I want to, because I'm not often thinking that. If I see a magnet, I'll probably take it for the barter, but I'm not thinking like, oh, I can craft a hard drive into a magnet as well. Like, there's so many that you can't, like, it's hard to remember them all.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of part of the thing. And you go like, oh yeah, this one, it's like the interconnecting web of all of the items and how they relate to each other is part of why I like it. It's so complex, such a complex system. There's inevitably cool things you can do, cool ways you can combine stuff together, like the Mosin thing we talked about before. There's like the press armor thing. You can craft this stuff out of nearly nothing. You start with a grand juice, some slickers bars, and you can make a press armor just out of thin air. And then because if you've got enough, because you turn the oh wait, because you can buy a packer from Ragman that turns into aramid. You need aramid and ripstop. The ripstop comes from the scab vests. The scab vests come from the slickers. You need the plate that comes from the grand juice. But once you've got yourself a press armor, the press armor appears with the front plate in it and the level 3. I think we talked about this last time. So you can infinitely craft yourself, so long as you've got enough fabric, you can infinitely craft yourself level 3 plates, because it comes with a level 3 Sappy style plate in the back. You take the front plate out, you sell the press armor itself, you keep the 3 plate, you put the front plate back through the craft, you get another press. So each time you get to sell the press and you get to keep the level 3 backplate, which I did that like on loop like 4 times, just so I had some level 3 backplates. So then when I ended up getting a class 4 armor, where it comes with 4 on both sides. So I'm like, okay, so take the back out, put the 3 in, and then you might pick up. So I actually ended up picking up something else that's like empty, or it's an empty rig. Like I've had it a couple of times where you found like a Carasso on a scab, but it's got no plates. but it takes Western plates both sides. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, this is 6. So now I can use the 4 plate I saved from the MMAC. I'll use the 3 plate that I got from the Presscraft, and now I've assembled myself a 4-3 in a Karasa, which
And
I
then
can't buy. I can't buy this otherwise.
you go on streets and you get one tap by a Mojo Man. It's great.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's what happens, and that's Tarkov. Yeah.
Love it.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Okay, so that's Peacekeeper.
Yeah, moving on to the final change, 24th.
Yes,
which was the
we
following
got
day.
Skier being unlocked. So Skier's there now. The last trader we have is Ragman. He's the only one that we don't have unlocked. Skier now has the ability to purchase class 3 plates. So you can buy one of those from him.
You're going to have to get 6 flash drives?
It's only hideout that's double.
Oh, okay, not question. Okay.
And the hideout is balancing the fact that you can put them in secure this time because you don't need found and raid for the hideout. That's the reason doubling, I think.
That makes
sense.
Make
it hard kill, but you can put the stuff in your. You never lose it. Once you found, like, if you find a drill and you choose to put it into your container because it's the most valuable thing you have, you can't put anything else in there. No bullets, no meds, nothing. So most of the time, you enter the raid with nothing in there.
Yeah.
It's other barter items that you've got in there and/or food. A lot of people calling it the lunchbox. you just take your lunch in it. That's it.
Yeah.
You can't put anything else of value in there. And so you find a drill. Like every time you find a drill, you will get it.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay. I think it's fine. But there's double requirements because you're guaranteed every time you take one, you're guaranteed to be able to use it. So it's whatever. Yeah. So I'd be annoyed if the quests were doubled. So so we got Skier. What does Skier have? He has a few things. He has a prism scope. He has the RFB barter, which is pretty powerful. I was actually in this video that I'm about to release. I can't remember. I think so.
I know some people like that.
I think it's probably really expensive.
Yeah, it is very expensive.
Oh no, it's on Jaeger. That's on Jaeger too.
Oh really?
So you can get it still, but it's just over on Jaeger.
Okay.
But yeah, he's got some good stuff, which is useful to have. He has TCW SP for the RFB. So yeah, so like I did kind of note. I didn't really think about it before I was recording it, and I was kind of recording it live, and I was like, oh, actually, you do need like a lot of computer stuff. You want hard drives and DVDs so you can barter backpacks with Peacekeeper. You want RAM so that you can get, and if you want to do the magnet craft that we were just talking about from chat, if you want RAM so you can get hybrid 46s. You want CPU fans so that you can barter those for gas analyzers, barter those for RFBs. You want CPU fans again and CPUs so you can barter those for M4s.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually computer loot. You need loads of it. You need all of them. It's only wires really that you only need for the hideout and don't need for other stuff particularly. So I was like, oh man, you really should be looting a lot of PCs actually. I was thinking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I do like, because there is a definite certain amount of this. It's not like absolute doctrine, but you'll notice like a lot of the PC stuff will be on like mechanic and peacekeeper for like barter stuff. Whereas like tools you'll see more for like prepper. And I guess industrial stuff, kind of like Ragman. Although Ragman's kind of varies a lot. Skier's got like valuables like clocks and horses and statues and stuff. Gold watches.
Which is kind of annoying because you don't find them as much. So it's a bit like, I can't use them very often,
Yeah.
Even things like at level 1 is like horse plus a pom-pom hand. It's just like, how many horses am I finding? Like, not many.
Yeah. Plus, you probably want to use a docs case. Put those towards a doc case,
Exactly, and I need to find a lion. I've got all the others. I just need a lion for the docs case. The docs case, people have told me this a few times actually, because I haven't had one yet. I've not had the chance to do it, but a lot of people have been saying it's been really good. Which is, in the docs case, you could put the posters in. Last wipe, I don't think the posters sold for anything. This wipe, Ragman will buy them. So you can put, if you got the doc, like they're 2x2, so they're not really
the hideout
worth
posters.
Taking. But if you've got the docs case, you're probably not taking that many keys yet, but you can put the posters in. So it's really neat 2-slot that you can put loads of posters in. And they do sell for like 25k is the minimum.
Okay.
A lot of them sell for 50.
Wow.
Which is okay. It's like 12k per slot kind of thing. But if it's 12k per slot in a 2x1 in your secure container, which you can't put anything else in, really, then that's pretty good value.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you can put intels and maps and whatever else that you get in there, which is decent.
Dog tag case, getting some value this wipe. Put that in your container as well, so every PMC you kill, because you're wiping the entire lobby.
Of course, of course. Yeah, I haven't got one of those yet. You can buy one, but I've been a bit, a little bit about my
Yeah, no,
rubles
I
recently.
wouldn't.
So
I wouldn't buy.
I've had. Let's put it this way: it's not once that I've had less than 1,000 rubles. I'm like going into raid, and
Wow.
I'm just like, and I can't buy the GSSH headset. I'm just like, I will just like tickle it over by selling something that's not really like a bit of food or something.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, people are like, how much money have you got? Like yeah, it literally says like 729 or something. I'm like, yeah, we're on the edge. I tried not to sell stuff. I've got 26 mil stash value or something, but most of it's all in
It's crazy.
future opportunity cost and
Yeah.
optionality. It's like I'm just trying to keep as much of that as I can. I had one the other day where I like completely panicked and went on like a fire sale. I was actually offline, and I was trying to do gunsmith. I was trying to do the video for the next gunsmith, and it was the one where you need the AK-12 magazine. And I was like, oh damn it, I don't have the AK-12 magazine. Fence. Click onto fence is literally a 74U right there with the AK-12 magazine. And I was like, oh, I tried to buy it, but it's 100k, and I had like 80k, and I was like,
Oh my
no!
gosh.
I would like go back in my stash, just like sell anything. Like by the time I got back, it was gone. I was like, no.
Disaster.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely one of those wipes. I've definitely had more. I've like this wipe's given me emotions. What kind of emotions? It's up to you to interpret. But it's definitely given me emotions for sure.
It's funny.
Oh, god damn it. Yeah. So yeah, so we've got all the traders except for the Ragman, which is basically the class 4 peddler, which means class 4 is still pretty, it's a big find if you find an MMAC or something. Obviously,
Hmm.
if you're not like boss farming or whatever, because they do have more of those kind of things. But I can unless you're actually like good at farming bosses. I've never been great at farming bosses, and if you're not in a team, it's hard. It's actually hard to die
Yeah.
quite doing it. Either to the bosses themselves or to other players, and that's the thing. People always like go,
Yeah.
just do X, Y, Z, bro. And I'm just like, yeah, but what about the other 3 people who come in third party and like,
Yeah.
oh, but I've been in all these raids and like, I've never had any third parties. And just like, okay, well, good for you, but like that,
Yeah.
that
And like
typically doesn't tend to happen. You got to find them and whatever.
every time early wipe, I fight Rashala at the gas station. It's like finally I like defeated them all, and then it's like airstrike grenade from a player. I'm dead. I'm like, yep. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, no, it's good. It's good, and like I like suppressors being rare. People were saying in chat, biggest win, lack of suppressors. Like the maps feel alive. Like I was wandering around. It was either streets or customs, and I was just like, it sounds like a freaking war zone. You got like boss guns going off, someone's fighting Kaban, there's grenades, there's scavs shooting at players, you can hear an ADAR over here, an unsuppressed M4 over there. It's like actual full on like city warfare. Like it's crazy. So
we've talked about this
yeah, no,
before a
it's good.
little bit, but I do like now the hybrid 40. I mean, maybe the barter's a little too good, but let me not say any heresy here, and just shoot that person down.
Yeah.
No, but because normally it's like super expensive, right? Like I mean, it's like
It's on the Flea.
even the trader. Like if you were to buy it outright cash, I think it's
Oh,
probably like Peacekeeper 3, if I had to guess.
maybe, yeah.
But it's like, I mean, I think it's like $300+, maybe more. No, wait, is it
It was a lot.
1,000?
I
I
used
heard
to go for loads
1,000.
on the Flea as well. It was like 80k because people just like couldn't be bothered to do the Ram bar. So like people are just so
Yeah,
lazy with
yeah.
cash in Tarkov.
But my point is, like,
But
the
it's
suppressor itself, it's not really that great stat wise. Like, you
yeah,
miss out on the double stacking with the muzzle and the suppressor combo for the guns that can do
yeah,
that. And however, the upside, which you don't really get to participate in like the regular Tarkov, probably definitely a bit more of this wipe, is that it can go on basically everything and anything.
mm,
It's like, hey, I got this
yeah.
gun. Man, it'd be great if I could suppress it. Guess what? Hybrid 46. Boom.
To the rescue,
Yeah.
exactly. And it's pretty good on Ergo as well. And
Yeah, it is
Ergo's
good on Ergo.
quite lacking right now because you don't have you
It's
don't necessarily
true.
either have the parts or you don't necessarily want to spend on all the parts. Works really well with something like the RFB.
Yeah.
So that's it's just quite good. I think that's a good one. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, Peacekeeper 2's got the UMP suppressor,
Mm.
and so you're like, oh, you can run the UMP, and then you're like, how much? How much is that? Like $600? What? Like it's like 100k just for the suppressor? Like God, like this thing is super pricey. It's like actually insane. actually insane.
I remember when the ump first came out and was like everywhere. And last time I used the ump, I was like, man, this thing is crap. Like I don't even bother buying the suppressor now. It's just like it's not even worth it.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The UMP came out as the recoil change in 12.12 occurred. So we went from like laser beam meta
Oh
to
yeah,
the M4 is unusable level.
yeah. I
And so anything
remember.
with a fast fire rate got like nerfed into the ground. So the
Basically.
HK, the M4, like all of those guns just got destroyed. And the UMP just like shone through at 600 RPM, newly added to the game. And because it fires like, do, 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 people are like, it's the only usable gun. And people were using that and firing AP out of it. And it was insane.
Yeah, because like even
It's in
like
a better place now.
even the MP5 was like basically unusable. Like it just kick
Yeah.
up. The PP19 was like pretty rough. I remember using that, and I was like, man, this thing is hard to use. Yeah.
The 5.56 MDR was like 650 RPM. Like that was everywhere, absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was kind of crazy.
It's
I'm glad we got to where we have on recoil. Honestly,
yeah, for
like
sure.
we've got a good middle ground. It's not the laser beam from before. It's not the stupid like anti RPM recoil from the middle series, and then now we're in like a good place. It feels good now. It feels good now.
So, keeping up with Tarkov news, BSG is heading on a global tour. Will take part in several largest international gaming exhibits in 2025. This is presumably for 1.0. I mean, looks like there's a PAC West coming up in August 29th through September 1st, Tokyo Game Show and late September, Paris Game Week and late October, and then G Star. I guess that's in South Korea in November 12th through the 15th. And yeah, there's like a promo code, I guess, that came with this that you can like punch into the game to get some items.
Yeah, road to release, all one word, capitals. You can put it in the launcher. It gives you effectively the stuff to do the med case barter with therapist, and also the mag craft at Lavatory 2, which I don't have yet because I used all my jewels on the workbench. But you know, if you have Lavatory 2, then you can get the mag case crafted. That'll be good. Once I get to Lavatory 2, I need to find 2 more drills. Once I get there, I can get the grenade case and the mag case like crafted.
To save you
which will be great.
some space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my space is just like so bad. I've got it all in rigs and stuff. It's terrible.
It's rough.
It's terrible.
Yeah, and I think what else do we have news? We want to talk about the Nikita stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk about Nikita stuff next. So there's a couple of clips that we've got. He added a dev clip series, some more people walking up the stairs. Let me just mute this. It's not like super loud. So it's like people walking up the stairs in a live action thing. We've got what appears to be homeless man Prapor sat on a bench. They're doing some kind of editing on him. I don't know exactly. I mean, it looks like there's going to be in-game cut stuff for 1.0, which is like kind of crazy. Like it really is looking like that at this point. Then they showcased, I don't know what that is exactly. I mean, somebody in chat will probably tell us. It looks like a handgun, but it's kind of like I don't know. It goes around like the magwell as well. So I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's like a gun that doesn't come apart. What does it even say on it? It says like RA20173.
It could just
be
like
that means anything.
Serial number, maybe.
There's
something on the side in Russian. I don't know. It's got a TM on it.
SR3M? Someone's saying Lito in chat. I don't know. Maybe something model for that. I'm not sure. I can't identify that. Then we got your Terror Group. Nothing really there. Some more like scav arms with some bandages. I can't see what does it actually say on there. Some kind of little logo or something. Maybe it's not important. I'm not sure. Can't really tell. Looks like some new skin for scavs. Then there's a little microdot. Which one's this one? A Trigicon. Was that Trigicon SRO? I think I recognize it from like Call of Duty, maybe. It looks looks like one from one of the recent Call of Duties. Yeah, it's called the Trigicon SRO. So it's got kind of like a round little optic thing. Now they showcased this again, which is them like modeling the inside of the face. It's like inside the cultist model, which is like very weird. Then a couple more trousers. I don't know what this is for. Maybe battle pass or something. Who knows? Could be for purchasing for cosmetics. Them doing some level design. What was this one? I'm not sure whether we knew where this was. This looks a bit
It's
like
like
reserve. I'm not sure if it is.
Yeah, it's like a warehouse / garage. There's like military jeeps in there. One looks like one is possibly suspended in the air.
It does look like it's in for maintenance or something.
Yeah.
I don't think.
This looks new.
I don't think we know this. It could be this thing. It could like it looks a bit like reserve. It looks a bit like labs. Like it looks a bit like maybe Ground Zero or something. It's hard to know. But maybe this is just terminal. You know, there's
That's
a
what I'm
trucks in terminal.
thinking.
It's probably that. I mean, it's inside, so it could be anywhere. It's like a sort of hangar type thing. Some forklifts. A bit more live action. And then a few more cosmetics, Savage, and then a guy unjamming a shotgun by hitting the buttstock on the ground in typical BSG fashion. So it's kind of cool. I mean, at one point they're kind of gearing up for it to be pretty neat with 1.0. We'll flick to the other one. I know we have something in the middle, but we'll flick to this other one first, which is Nikita posted this yesterday evening, and it's effectively a map. It looks like a map with some kind of targeter at the top of it, and it kind of flicks between like a geo, like a sort of real life like satellite type image, which you can actually see the gas station fire on Shoreline, and it moves as if it's being rendered in real time. Which is interesting. So it's like a real supposed to be a real shot. Maybe this is another cutscene of like going to Shoreline or something. I don't know. Then it flicks to like a sort of map version, and then cuts to the actual map. So maybe this could be another cutscene. You know, it's like incoming Shoreline, and then it flicks the map, and then your character like pulls the map away. But it is the actual map, the in-game map from Shoreline, and it's sort of targeted somewhere, kind of close to the tank on the bridge, the blown up tank on the bridge, between the tank and weather station, roughly. But I think it's probably just something to do with the story. I don't think it's going to be like an event or anything, but who knows? We will see. So continue to post some little teasers. Yep. Then we got like various Twitter stuff that's gone on. Deadly Stop, which I actually did notice it. I'd like to get, or could I get my beard oil to 700 barter back on Jaeger? This would be epic. I was sad when they basically replaced it with 2 repellents. I think is the current barter.
And that's new this wipe?
Just said, no, I think it's been like that for a little bit.
Really? Okay.
Maybe a couple of wipes. I don't remember when that was changed exactly, but I think it's been like that for a little bit, maybe 2 wipes or something. And Nikita said, okay. So I mean, they should just add both. Like, it doesn't hurt the game. Fine. Deadly wants his beard oil barter. And then I think the other part was they released. I was kind of excited about this, but there isn't anything. They released like the Chronicles of Rigi Season 2 full movie, which is nothing new. It's just all of them in one stretch. So if you did want to revisit them and watch them, you can watch them like all in one big go, which is like one seamless film, which is kind of neat. I think a lot of people are like, oh, Chronicles. Oh wait, it's all the stuff you've seen already.
I kind of got beta by it as well.
By the time we get to the next one, like I've forgotten what happened in the previous ones.
Yeah, for sure. Like it's all a blur.
So the only other part from the intersphere of Tarkov that I want to go through was this. There was this thread. So there was a thread that appeared on Twitter in general, which is the share a piece of lore about yourself thread, which is like a sort of classic engagement bait type thread, which went like uber viral. And somebody posted an equivalent one for EFT, share a piece of Tarkov lore about yourself with the same picture, but they've like superimposed the pom-pom hat and like the moonshine or whatever. And again, I was just like, ugh, people just farming impressions. It's disgusting. But it's actually a cool thread, honestly. Like, and the other one as well, I was just like, whatever. Like, it's kind of cool because people sharing stuff that either people don't know or you've forgotten, or it's stuff from a long time ago, and it's actually like super wholesome. Like, it's been nice, like seeing people's like individual stories. Nikita himself posted about it, posted on this thread, and he wrote, and then in brackets, unintentionally created the extraction shooter genre, which is pretty funny. I just thought that was entertaining. The first comment down underneath. It would be funny if you unintentionally finally did something about cheaters. It would have to be unintentional though, because we know you wouldn't intentionally cut off your money printer. And Nikita just wrote, "I love you too, buddy."
Oh my god, savage.
Savage. So then outside of him, then there's like a couple of other BSG people who sort of had some notable responses, which I thought was quite fun. So this is Artem, who's the guy who plays Gluhar in Chronicles shows. He said, I've worked all kinds of jobs, painted a gas station, selling used cars, cosmetics, even a confectionery director. Ever since childhood, I had a deep interest in computer technology and games. In 2019, I was working as an engineer at the post office when I saw BSG moving to the office next door through the window. I didn't know who they were, but later I was lucky enough to meet one of their employees. Today marks exactly 6 years since I started working at the best company in the world. Just like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's like super
That's
wholesome.
cool.
And there's like the whole thread is like full of lots of wholesome, things of. I don't know. People forget. It's easy to forget just how much impact this game has had on people over the past like 8 years. This is Dennis, Mr. Pudlick. He plays Den in the Raid series. I was working as a paramedic when in 2017 a friend showed me the trailer for Tarkov. I was so impressed I bought the game almost immediately. A year later, I had over 1,000 hours in the game and a huge desire to become part of the project. Everything changed one night when an intoxicated patient knocked me right out at work. Or knocked me out right at work. I quit my job and decided to study design. After 2 years of hard work, here I am. In all those 5+ years, I never once regretted my decision. Every day I go to work with joy. It's like, cool. I'm
That's
just like,
super
man, we
cool.
need some wholesome stuff in our life. It's like a lot of creative. It's like Deadly Slob replied back, like, the thick container was named by my community live on stream. I was also the first player to ever have one. And Green Tracer 9mm. Like, Cleans one. What says, me and my community created the term hatchling back in early 2017. Which is pretty fun. There was a couple of random ones, like Sheaf. Back in 2019, I saw a tweet thanking a streamer for 10 bitcoins they got from drops. I thought Tarkov was giving away real Bitcoin from watching Twitch. I tuned into Summit1G, who also had drops that day, and I bought the game the day after. Drastically altered the course of my life.
That's funny.
It's like it's just like the randomness of life, right? Same with baddies. The only reason I stream is because I was playing Tarkov in 2017. I was killed by some nerd named Markstrom TV. I opened Twitch, which I was new to, and he was giving me deadly slod looting my body. They both ended after that raid and hosted Pibra, who told me I should stream. A couple of days later, I joined one of the community days and gamed with him, and Oddballs and his team killed me. And that's why he started streaming. There's like one other guy who I've like bumped into a little bit, had like some chats with, but never did anything with. And this is like Hordis. He's like a 3D graphics design guy. And he's like, I got into Tarkov in 2021 because of a friend. Later in the same year, I discovered Tiggs. I DM'd him offering my video editing skills, and the rest is history. If my friend never showed me the game, there's a good chance I'd never become a full-time video editor. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, I was just reading through after, I think it's because I was so dismissive of the thread at first. I was just like, classic Twitter engagement. Like, always this disgusting thing, this is annoying. And then like there were a couple of cool stories that I'd like didn't know or had forgotten or whatever. And I was like, actually, this is nice. Like there's just so many whole, like you should read through the thread. Go and find it on X if you could be bothered. There's like lots of cool stories there from people's experiences and stuff over the last 8 years. Like it's fun. It was a nice little. You know what? This game has done a lot of good actually. For when you're in the weeds on it every single day, it's easy to get bogged down in people complaining about this bit's too hardcore and BSG are this and they've done that and player base is toxic and yada yada. But there's a lot of positivity out there if you find a thread like this. It reminds you how nice it can be. So I thought that was worth flagging. A bit of positivity for everyone's day.
Yeah, that's super awesome. I think too it's easy for people, myself included, just to think, like, forget that there's people behind the screens. You know what I mean? I find this actually really hard in in my Deadlight games, for example, like, because it's like you're just another, you're just like a little voice on my computer screen. You're not real, you know what I mean? It's just like so easy for me to, and it's like the next raid or the next match goes, and it's just like a new, randomly generated person on the internet is now my teammate. You know what I mean? It's like so disposable.
Yeah.
It's like super easy to forget that like there's real people, real lives behind these things, like especially in the context of the devs, And that was super cool hearing some of the lore, how some of these guys got started. Like, basically having no experience and then just like grinding out 2 years of design now working at PSG, and they love every moment of it. Like, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's just cool. It's like, people working there, working on the game, like people making content for the game, people doing work for creators who are making content on the game. It's like this, and this whole industry around the game, it's like I wouldn't be able to do this otherwise. I'd just be grinding away at the coalface down in London if this hadn't appeared. It's just like this, it's changed so many people's lives. It really has. It really has. Okay. Let's just make a step break, and we've talked about some of this stuff already, and we'll cover the last sort of like big Tarkov topic, which I think is the Flea.
Dun dun dun.
And whether it still has a place in the game, because obviously there's a lot of discussions about the Flea, and the issue with this always is it's the spider web, right? The Flea is one of the pieces, and there's so many things it connects to. It's sort of you yank it out, and everything's affected. Big ripple effect. But I think this is the question. It's like, what do we do about the Flea now? Is it better? Is the game better without the Flea? You know, is there a way to bring the Flea back in such a way that it makes sense and enhances the experience that we have without making it stupid?
Is that what people are discussing? Is there a lot of people basically saying the game should just continue without the Flea based off this experience?
Kinda, yeah. I don't know. It's tricky because there's obviously two sides to it. There's a lot of people who are saying it's a lot better this way. The progression is more staged. Like it makes things make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the stuff in Raid is not just now a pile of money. It's not just a pile of money because most of those other mechanics we were talking about before, you wouldn't do any of those things.
Yeah,
you
would
need
never.
To. You just circumvent all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so it bypasses so many of the mechanics that are in the game and make the game actually kind of interesting. But there is also obviously a proportion of the community that doesn't care about that kind of thing and just wants to play with the Flea. So it's difficult because there's sort of an unreconcilable clash amongst the players. I mean, I do think people have overwhelmingly enjoyed No Flea because they liked it last wipe as well. Like there was still some grumbling last wipe, but I think people do enjoy not having it on balance, I would say, from what I've seen.
Plus, you probably get the best of both worlds. Like, you know, you get to like start of the wipe, you get a little bit more of the hardcore-y elements, and then it goes back to like regular, you know, because like inevitably, even if you do play hardcore all the way through, like inevitably you're gonna be because the numbers only go up, really. I mean, Scav itself is just like unless you're just like the worst gamer, like you only have, you know, a keyboard that only 50% of the keys function and half your binds are unbound. You know what I mean? Like unless you're like absolutely just like the worst Tarkov player, otherwise over course of time, like the game has to wipe. Otherwise, it's just like you'll just accumulate just by naturally existing. You're just gonna like accumulate stuff.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens because we also don't want to like mix up the hardcoreness of this wipe with the No Flea thing, and we have to kind of take it in the context of last wipe with No Flea that was a normal wipe that also felt good, but we also knew the Flea was coming back, so you still kind of had the incentive to hoard some things. Maybe not the first set of stuff. You're not like it's not the race to 15 and then dump everything. It was more keep a bunch of stuff, but obviously you're not gonna have it for a while, so you kind of have to. There was like a sort of metagame around that. Whereas this time it's like maybe it'll come back right at the end as a surprise, but the working assumption is that we won't have it at all, and you kind of need to play in that fashion. Right? There's no point holding out for it at this point. You're just going to hold yourself back from that, from like opportunity costs and other stuff. So we'll see what happens as the traders go up because it makes a big difference. You know. No Flea and level 1 trader cap versus No Flea and level 4 trader cap. Like there's a big wide difference there.
Right.
Because the flea market, again, like the reason why the Flea bypasses stuff is because it ends up well, I guess the issue is that rather than just like bypassing the mechanics, it inadvertently feeds into the input of these mechanics. So it's not like, oh, well, if you make the barters really good value, people will use the barters. That's not really the issue. It's like if the barters are really good value, but you can buy the inputs to the barters on the Flea, and they're really good value, then yeah, people will use the barters, sure, but they're using them because of the Flea, not because they're picking up the stuff.
Not because of their inherent value necessarily.
Yeah, exactly.
Although you could use them for their inherent value, but that's the.
But yeah,
it's like
because you could use rubles to interchangeably buy anything else, also using the Flea, then it makes it kind of problematic. That's sort of the deal.
It's like it kind of reminds me a bit of the Airing told me a story. I can't remember, but like when Airing had interaction with John B, where John B was like, describing how like he was new to Tarkov and he was like thought he was being really clever, where he like took out the matches and like traded it out for I don't know cheese or something. I don't even know what you trade. It's like some maybe
Matches go to painkillers and
pile of
Algins.
meds. I think it was.
Okay.
And he thought he was being really clever, but like then he learned is like wait, this stuff is like intrinsically tied to like values, and like I just basically lost money. Like when I made more money had I just like flea marketed the matches, I guess.
And then bought the meds using the money. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like
Yeah.
yeah. But
And
you
yeah,
know,
I think that's the crux of it. So I think the main question, because like I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm like kind of putting together something that I'm still musing about it, and it's like a big thought video about like the economy and like what's happened this wipe and like interesting takeaways from it and all of that kind of stuff. And there's a lot in there, especially this wipe, because the flea contributes towards like rampant inflation, you know, in many ways, just
yeah.
creating value out of thin air through the traders, you know, utilizing the trader barters to just be able to buy things you find in raid and then turn them into other items and then sell those items, whatever. It's just like it's all crazy. But I do think that the insurance system has a lot to do with that as well, actually, because
Yeah.
we've probably talked about this before, but you know, if you go through the steps of and it's actually it's funny because I was writing out like what happens, and I came to the realization that the more valuable an item is, the worse the problem gets with item inflation, because bad items sometimes get sold to the traders by players, but good items people will just keep them. So as a voodoo, for example, most people keep that. Right?
Yeah.
I can't imagine people selling a voodoo to the traders, particularly in the flea market wipe. So somebody creates one, they either find it in raid or they do the barter with Skier and get one, right? So a new voodoo is born into the world.
The life of a
When a mummy and
voodoo.
daddy voodoo love each other very much. So a voodoo appears in a player's inventory. The routes then, the player takes it into it either just sits in their stash or they take it into raid. They either survive the raid and keep it, or it's insured and they insurance fraud it and get it back, or they die to another player. Okay, so what happens when they die to another player? Well, the player either doesn't loot them and the first player gets it back, or the second player loots it and they take it instead. They either then keep it or put it on the flea. The flea market just moves it from one player to another. Like, at no point in this loop does the voodoo ever leave the economy. There's no durability on it. It just stays forever. There's like a few niche cases, right? So PMC2 picks it up and vendors it to the trader. That's one option. It almost certainly sells for less than on the flea, so no one's ever going to do that, really. Some people might at the end of the wipe, but whatever. The other person picks it up and goes MIA by accident and it deletes it because MIA is kind of bugged and doesn't give you insurance.
That's true, yeah.
If a random scav ends up finding the body and picking up the item, then you also don't get it. But these cases are like really niche. Like you got to imagine in 99% of cases, the voodoo stays in the economy.
Even in that scenario, isn't it supposed to go to the fence level 4 rep trader screen and then
yes, and it's uninsured, I think. I'm not sure if it goes on a scout member.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that's the thing. You could not insure it, and then that's a way out.
That's another one.
Everyone insured everything before. You see,
it was basically a no-brainer. I mean, you could do a little min-maxing if you really wanted to, if you're really penny pinching, but it was largely a no-brainer. And like the insurance thing also gets astronomically better if you're in groups, because then it's like, oh, ditch my stuff, you know. And I mean, yeah.
So this is the thing: the insurance system has a lot to answer for with the.
It kind of does, yeah.
Just the inflation of items, and you've got kind of the inflation of. It's weird because you have inflation of money in Tarkov, which is that happens mainly with the Bitcoin farm and a few other things, scav runs and whatever else. And then you've got inflation of items, and these two things kind of go together to make. You've got loads of money, and but then high value items like voodoos or whatever are still like kind of cheap, so they're so little versus you could like sell 3 bolts and buy a voodoo. You know, it's just like the whole thing is just so skewed and doesn't make any sense. So like these things just combined together, they'd end up with this toxic loop of just like craziness. Whereas this wipe is insane. Like insuring stuff is like crazy, and most people are not insuring anything. But some people in my chat who some of like the better players within my Discord at
Hmm.
least, are insuring their like class 4 armors, for example. So yes, it's more than you would buy them for, but you can't buy them.
Yeah,
So if you
yeah,
die and
that's true.
if you're okay monetarily, and a lot of these people are bringing over money from Arena, I will caveat this.
Hmm.
So, but if you're okay monetarily, then you're like, okay, well, what else can I use the money for? Well, I can't buy a class 4 armor with it, so I will pay for the possibility of getting it back.
I mean, that makes sense. Like, I can follow the logic.
Yeah. And so, but for the most part, people aren't paying for it. And a lot of the time, if someone finds your class 4 armor, they're going to take it. So items are just vaporizing out of Tarkov at a crazy rate this wipe, which is like hugely deflationary. You know, like there's so
Because
many
if
things
no
to it. It's like the
one,
buy price is super high, the sell price is super low. When you do buy an item and you die with it in raid and no one picks it up, boom, it's
there you
gone.
go.
Like all
Yeah.
that money is just gone. So now there's like money sinks everywhere. The Tarkov economy is like leaking like a freaking sieve. Beforehand, everyone was getting all their items back, or they were going to another player. So the items were just staying, floating around, ever building. People were doing more barters, more voodoos, more voodoos. Over time, it's just voodoos everywhere. I'd love to see a chart of like the number of voodoos in the game at any one time over time, you know, over a previous wipe. It'll be fascinating to see. And like to see this wipe, like various charts of the gear, I'm sure it's just like slowly building, but the rate of loss is hugely high, you know? It's like it's so high.
It
No one's
almost,
insuring those things. Do people do insure? Half the time you don't get it back because it's good stuff in the first place. People are more likely to take it. It's like it's crazy.
it almost sounds like when you were describing the problem earlier with like items not disappearing and there's like a money problem where, you know, you slowly over, it's much slower probably than items not
Yeah.
disappearing, but you know, Bitcoin's kind of a longer road to get to, right? And you have
Hmm.
to like invest a lot, etc., whatever. But you know, scav, but however, scav is the, you know, the caveat with scav is like it's contingent on the flea market existing, you know, because then that, like, yeah, it is an item problem, and like, yeah, it is a money problem, but it's mainly a money problem for the. I guess it's still relevant. You could sell yourself to this to the trader. I mean, you get a lot less in the context of
Yeah.
this wipe.
I guess it depends what. So there are things that you do sell to the trader because it's funny because I was thinking about this before and I was just like, oh yeah, but things are so expensive on the flea, and I'm like, yeah, we do have to remember though that the flea market is actually a money sink. Weirdly, even though things are going for a lot, then one player is buying and one player is selling, and there's a flea market fee. So actually, money is
Yeah,
lost when you use the flea market.
yeah,
Weirdly. So where does the money come from? Well, it comes from selling valuables to the traders. It comes from selling bitcoins and cats and cyclons and whatever. It must, otherwise, you know, the streamer items as well. So you know, the
yeah,
various deadly
yeah,
stop beard oils and whatever, or even ratchet ventures, things with like high values. That's where like new cash appears because the flea market isn't cash generative for the Tarkov economy. It's a transfer mechanism, which is fine.
hmm,
But the money has to come from somewhere, and that's why like eventually the Bitcoin dominates because it
yeah,
appears and then you sell it to the trader and then
yeah.
boom, loads of money just appears in your account, right? That's like hugely inflationary for the. It'd be fascinating to get some of the like economic, get some of like the economic indicators, you know, for EFT, like
Yeah,
M2
because I
money in circulation from the Bank of Novinsk or whatever. Like I get the key to like put together something properly. You know, it's just like what is the total money in circulation in Tarkov and try and like look at some of the various like inflation. I'm not really an economist. I'm very amateur when it comes
yeah.
to like that kind of thing, like central banks and stuff like that. But it'd be fun to see some of the stats for sure. I mean, I'm sure people would have a field day looking through the Tarkov metrics. Any real economist would go crazy for it.
I was thinking, you know, jumping back to your voodoo example, even though voodoos are really valuable throughout the course of a wipe, and even though their supply increases, you know, because they're like non-consumable, basically, like it's really hard to consume them.
Hmm.
But because you have the money printing problem towards the end, I would imagine the prices, you know, because typically what happens if like your classic Tarkov economy stuff is like the stuff you need early wipe, they're like on the flea market, very expensive, right? And then as that progresses, that price drops and continues to drop, whatever. But with something like the voodoo, I could see it actually like going up. Maybe it's like a inverted bell curve or something. You know, it starts out really high and then like in the middle of the wave, it since there's a lot of them and not a lot of people have money, it's like they kind of fall closer to like the quote unquote trader price. And then towards the end of wipe, when everyone's got their Bitcoin farm going, and then the prices of voodoos jump, skyrocket. I could see it.
Yeah. I think that for sure happens, especially when the wipe gets announced. Like all the prices go up because people stop
Oh
doing the
yeah,
barters, people stop looting, people just use the money to pay for, whatever there's out there,
yeah.
and people aren't interested in making money, so all the prices go up a lot. But yeah, that's definitely true, and that's like inflation, pure and simple. It's like the
Yeah,
supply of the voodoos is still maybe the same, but the money is now worth less, and so the price of the item is higher.
mm,
Because there's so much money now just like floating around that people will just pay like whatever for it.
yeah.
It's like classic case of inflation. So it's definitely interesting. It's certainly interesting. But yeah, just like coming back full circle, like I don't
Mhm.
know about the Flea, about what people could do with it in particular. It's hard to know like whether bringing any of it back is actually sensible or not. Because people have muted things like maybe you just put keys on there, but it's like, well, maybe, but like surely there's a better way to do keys. Like if you want keys to be found in some fashion or to have to work towards important keys, then surely you'd be better off either putting them in hard spawns with multiple locations that you have to go and search for, or yeah, they can be in the general loot pool of the map, fine. Or they can have a barter, right, which you have to work towards. It's like the 7 pile of meds to get that. It's like you slowly get incremental progress on something you can put in your secure container. Or there's a quest maybe that you can do it that's on a different branch to go and get the key for the other one if you haven't found it. Like having multiple routes, I think is nice. But just like going, oh well, you could get them all easily if you just open the Flea up. I'm like, I don't know if that's is that really I'm not sure if that's really the right answer.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you value as the player or BSG. It's like, because to me, the flea market is like, its main feature is convenience. Like, hey, we
Mm.
understand it really sucks doing X, Y, and thing we asked you to do. Instead, you can do other things and then transmute that into rubles and then get the thing you wanted to. The problem was back then is like nobody, I mean, there was a lot of problems, hatchet runners, which is kind of a different problem, but, whatever. It's just like, then they had to go through. It's like, okay, well, now we need a found rate system. Now we need to like ban these items, but these items are okay. But it's just like it becomes a lot more murkier to like kind of make it balanced because it then at its like core, it is almost like fundamentally at odds with Tarkov, which is like no, it's yes, you have to go and get the machinery key, and then you gotta go get the power watch, and then you're not even done. You gotta go to a freaking factory and then go and deposit it. That's right. You gotta back in the day. I mean, you had to plant that thing for like a minute, and you were just like sweating bullets the entire time. Open to God, no one would kill you. But and it's like if you could just like pay for that, like, wouldn't that just like detract from the entire point of that one particular quest? It's like it's asking a very specific thing from you, but if instead you could just be like, I'm gonna go loot filing cabinets for 4 hours and then come back and then click the buy pocket watch button and click the accept quest. Like, it's just I don't know. It's like as a BSG, they gotta like kind of decide what they value, and like I could see the argument for like, well, think about the casuals. We always gotta think about the casuals. Like I do think there's values of that, but I also feel like you could do things, you know, like make things more accessible without like opening the floodgates. Like to the example mentioned earlier, it's like if I look at an item and inspect it, like it should tell me what it's used for. You know what I mean? It's like it's like I don't expect the average player to just sit there and magically know, oh, I need this is used for 5 bajillion things in the video game, or like pull up the wiki and like that's just a lot of work. You know what I mean? It would be much more accessible. However, the ultimate accessibility is credit card. Just pull up your Tarkov bank account, go into flea market and buy that blue tape for your hideout. Once you figure out you need it, you're back in the it's like, oh, I
Mm.
gotta do this. The ultimate gamer. The ultimate gamer move. Credit card.
The Tarkov ruble account.
Yes.
Done. Yeah, it's just so weird, isn't it? It's just so difficult. And the reason why I sort of struggle with it is because I actually I like from a player's perspective, I quite like the Flea. It's quite like
What do you
fun to
mean?
interact with. I've always just enjoyed the general concept of the Flea. It's one of the things that got me into the game in the first place.
Now, you like
But
the very specific version of buying and flipping.
I like that too, but it's
That
just
was
like
fun.
the whole player interaction thing, like just like it's just cool. But it's unfortunate what it does to the game. It's just like I can't really stay. It's the same with insurance. I like one of the biggest things because we actually talked a lot about insurance. And one of the biggest problems with getting rid of insurance is that you actually lose some of the joy of like the big raids because you can't insurance for anymore unless you want
Yeah,
to pay over the odds for your stuff. Like yeah, sure, if you've got your your armor
right.
insured, which is you spent loads on it, but it's class 4, and then you find another one, then you can still insurance forward your thing. So maybe it is worth insuring your really good armor even just to allow you to take another one if you find one. Like I
Yeah,
found a couple of times a worse class 4 rig, and I'm like, well, it's not insured, so I can't swap it. You know, like losing out on insurance for it is sad, I think,
yeah.
because
It
it is
does
that's
feel
cool.
bad.
You know, especially as a solo, you kill a 2-man, you're like, man, like
Right.
I can take precisely none of their stuff because I've got best in slot and all their stuff is worse than mine. And the best thing that they've got on is like a 3x4 class 4 armor, and it's just not really worth taking. I will say though, on the very side tangent to that, I kind of nearly made the wrong decision the other day in streets, and I was looking at this scav that I killed. I headshot him. There was a pristine class 4 Ulay, and I was like, oh, but look at all this stuff. Like, it's just not worth taking the Ulay. And people in chat were like, you can't buy that. Take it. I know you're going to lose some slots for it, but like, who cares about the efficiency of like taking out these other random things? Like, you can find those things again. Like, you don't have the ability to buy class 4. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? And I was just like, oh, you guys are right. Like, you really are right. I should just dump some of this stuff and take the Ulay. So I did in the end, but I was just like, try to rewire. It's like to rewire, it's a
Yeah.
big change. But yeah, it's just weird. It's just like, oh, the game's probably better without insurance. But like, oh, insurance was really fun. Like, oh, the game's probably better without the flea market. But like, it's kind of fun. Like, it's just, oh, it sucks. It's like, man, like why do we have to get rid of this stuff? It's annoying.
Yeah, it's almost like
It's annoying.
insurance as a solo could be seen as like a win more option. Like you pay
Mm.
money, and if you do win, then you get to fraud it and then take all their loot out. So like you get high value, and then maybe in like a squad, it's more like a safety net type of mechanism. And I guess even solo, you could look at it that way. Like, oh, my gear's crap. You know, the PMC that kills me isn't gonna loot it probably, so I'm gonna get it back, type of thing.
Mm.
But the the first with the insurance fraud, because the insurance fraud is almost like its own It's more like the details of insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not really like it's not even like the details. It's just like this shady thing that goes on. It's like you got all the legal wording, and then you like read between the lines, like, oh, okay, so you're saying when it goes in the river, it comes back. I got you, prepper. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I just at this point, I'm just not sure what they can bring back. I mean, we talked about lots of different things, and I think overall, I do think that maybe some basic items could be there. There's one before I talk about that, one thing that people did bring up, which is more relevant, is that you could maybe have a limited number of uses. So you maybe get like 5 sales, 5 buys, like a day or a
Oh,
week or something. It's like you could buy like an item of value that you really need for whatever it might be, gunsmith or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way of doing it. Another thought that I had
That could
was
work.
based on right now, but one of the reasons why barters are so good is because the trader prices are so high, and they really are punishingly high. But that makes the barters look amazing in
Yeah,
comparison.
right.
So you're not necessarily it's hard to make cash to spend on stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but it's relatively easy to go, well, I would have bought this. I can instead barter for that. I'm saving, 50k by bartering for like this thing rather than paying the trader for that other thing that's sort of equivalent. And so that's really helped. And I was thinking, well, maybe if the Flea had something similar, maybe there shouldn't be like a sales tax or something. Maybe it should just be really expensive. The Flea is there, you can put items up on it, but the buyer pays like 4 times the item's price in fees or something. So it's like the ammo ends up just being like from a buyer's, but there's not necessarily anything wrong with buying things. But if it gives you, this is the thing about the traders, is like you have the option, but it's pricey. And so it's not necessarily the best option. You have somewhere to put your cash. Like maybe something like that could work. I don't know. Maybe that would be okay.
Oh, are you
So
saying like basically you have a sales tax? Because right now
kind
we
of
have
like the buyer would pay it.
Yeah, because right now we have it like
It's
backwards,
like a
like
seller's, yeah, we have like a seller's listing fee, which is
right,
sort of weird, and the buyer doesn't pay that.
right.
And
So
it
like
gets it
it's
gets implied in the price, but if you put up like M855 for
true, true,
500 a
true,
round,
true.
the buyer's gonna have 2K or something, and it's like it's fences fee for turning up and not getting kneecapped kind of deal.
But that means that
Like,
if you're only like liquidating or not liquidating, but like vanishing money disappears only when you're selling because that's when the fee occurs. Like if you're buying, you're not really that money just goes to the player, which I guess if they depend on what they do, it could like vanish,
in well,
right?
in this new system, imagine like there's an M855 round, and
Mm-hmm.
it's you see it as a buyer listed for 2,000. Seller put it up for 500. You buy it, you pay 2,000.
Mm-hmm.
1,500 just disappears to the game. 500 goes to the seller, something like that. So it's just like a
Oh,
really high tax. It like artificially makes everything really expensive on the Flea. I don't know, like just a
I
random
see.
like idea that I had from. So that would make the fleet less attractive because I'm like, oh, well, that's maybe okay because the traders are really unattractive right now because it's 70K for a UMP suppressor. It's like it's possible you can do it if you want. It's available, but you probably will avoid doing it because it's so much versus doing other stuff. And the fleet could maybe be similar. It's probably too hard to balance,
I don't
but
know.
like
Yeah.
it's just I'm just trying to think of ways to bring the flea back and make it useful because BHG spent so long on it, and it's like surely there's a way to make this good because like it's hard to think of a way that the game would be improved with it. Honestly, it's
I mean, it is in certain aspects. It
unfortunate.
depends how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know. It's
I know.
just I think realistically it's just gonna be pretty much status quo, which maybe they'll do, if they're gonna do continue wipes, which I think they said they're gonna do. I'm
They said
not
they would, yeah.
not even sure on like the exact. It feels like that stuff changes every other week, but last I heard they're like, yeah, we're gonna do wipes. So maybe they'll do like the first month without Flea or something, which I think is a pretty decent middle ground. That way you get a little bit more of that early white feeling without this like I mean, it was I think the more interesting thing was how people were like buying junk boxes and I mean even I was doing it and like filling it with items, but
Mm.
because, you know, and this is I think maybe I misunderstood you, but I think this is what you were referring to is that what you appreciate about the flea is like just how the players interact with the systems in place of the
Mm.
flea market, because it's like a community. You're not selling to the void trader, you're selling to another person, and other is human behaviors are being involved in this. So it's like everyone's hoarding, light bulbs. They're like, when the flea market opens, I'm just gonna make so much money, and then like everyone dumps all their light bulbs. It's like it
And they
just
worth like
suddenly,
nothing.
yeah, they're worth nothing. So yeah, it's very very interesting stuff in that regard. That yeah, I do like that as well. I think that's like a really cool, you know, in between the lines of the fun parts about Tarkov is like how this stuff plays out with the players and whatnot.
Yeah, I wonder how a flea market wipe would work with the trader capping. You got a flea
Trader
market
capping.
after a bit. Yeah, so like right now we've played. I mean, to be fair, we've only
Oh,
played 2
okay.
weeks or something. But you've got like if the traders you can't get above level 3 or 4 traders because the traders are part of it too. They're the supply
They
of a lot of
are.
this junk that
Mm-hmm.
caused the issues, right? People flipping and whatnot. Um, but it's like if you couldn't get 5681 from the trader because it's locked until month 3 or something, then it'll be really expensive on the flea. Because like, where else are you going to get it? So it's sort of that would sort of be self-balancing in some ways, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure. I know
That
it's
is an
hard to it's
interesting
hard to it's
idea
hard to know
because if you're
because I quite like the
right,
trader locking thing.
yeah, because if you're right, then you almost like de-emphasize doing the quest because that's like the benefit. It's like, oh yeah, if the flea market's gonna be locked, well then I'm incentivized to grind the traders out because like each tier is like, a power spike, and it's not like
Yeah.
it's like a stepping has like steps if you like were to like plot it out, and some
Mm,
steps are bigger than others. Looking at you, Ragman too.
exactly.
Looking at you, Peacekeeper 2 back in the day when you had M80. God, that was
God damn.
crazy. uh,
So yeah, I don't know. I actually don't really have a good conclusion.
yeah.
it feels like all the systems of the game work without the Flea better than when it's there in really any form. And there's ways to fiddle around with stuff to make all of the elements of the game, like whatever, feel good. The only thing I would say about this wipe is that I think the basic meds probably do cost too much. I think good stuff should be expensive. Yeah, so I mean, we went through the other day because we were talking again, just debating about this stuff, and we were talking specifically on the point about why, for example, a player would be incentivized to do 5 pistol runs. To go naked and do 5 pistol runs, even though they're like heavily undergeared. And I think the issue is that the early gear just costs too much. It's like an S March, like the basic med kit. So you're better off going in and just doing it, just having 5 goes with a double barrel shotgun or a TOS or something for 10k from the trader, because a cheese, an S March tourniquet, a bandage, and a packet of painkillers, and a splint. I think all of that grouping, costs 45,000 rubles at the moment. And I do think that the basic meds probably should be cheaper, because you could make it, you can make the other stuff more expensive. Like a bandage can be cheap, but an army bandage that has 2 uses can be expensive. A cheese can be cheap, but a car kit can be expensive. It's an S March can be cheap, but a hemostat or a cat tourniquet can be expensive. It's like, that's fine. But I think like the very basic kit, we're almost coming back to the base kit, the 0 ruble base kit that you could get if you're like super down and out. Because I think that's really put up a lot of players. It's like, they spend 10% of their starting stash on basic meds every time they die. And if there's a lot of people with survival rates of 30%, 40% in the average player pool at the moment. And it's rough. Like, they have to basically spend 100 grand on meds for each survive, which means that people at about 40% survival rate are like scraping by. And we're not talking about any of the rest of the kit either. Right? It's like 100 grand just on meds to scrape by and get 1 win, but you can't sell enough stuff to make 100k in one raid either. So it's tough. So you have to be looting those things, which it's a mentality. You have to be finding the S Marches. You have to be making sure you're holding on to them, because each one of them is going to cost you 7,000 rubles. It's like, there's no point holding on to something that's going to sell for 5k, because you're better off holding, multiple S Marches, because you're going to need them in the future raids. Like, I've done that in some ways. Or like a cheese, if you don't have any meds and you find a cheese square, well, that's worth 10,000 to you, because it's cost you 10k to replace. So it's different. Like water bottles, they're like 20k from therapists. That's 10k per slot if you're buying them. If you're not buying them, then it doesn't matter. But if you are buying them, then because you have no other option, then you find one, you think, well, you better keep this. It's much better to do that than to sell. So like, maybe it is just rewiring a little bit. But again, with newer players and inexperienced players, they don't necessarily have the ability to know exactly how to do that or think about it, or they kind of are going off like maybe one wipes of experience and they're struggling to adapt. I don't know. Do you think it should be a little easier to get into, even in the hardcore wipe? But at 1.0, it's going to be easy.
Even like outside of the hardcore wipe, I always felt like, for example, the P.A.C.A., I don't know if it's 30k or 50k normally. You probably would know better than I.
I think it used to be 29,000, something like that.
It's just like, dog, that's like the bare minimum. Why am I paying like so much in the early wipe? Like, I feel like the scaling is like more, like, it's almost a little, it is and it isn't, depending on what you look at, but it's almost a little bit more skewed towards like, you get more value the higher you go up the chain. Like, not, like, I don't know. I wish I could think of like a good example, because like the Grizzly isn't really a good example. That one, but that one's like kind of like a, there is a lot of value packed in it because it can do everything. But I don't know. I guess maybe like a RD, for example. It's like you could buy 2 to 3 AR-15s versus just like 1 RD. It's like just like, I feel like the ratio there isn't quite even. Going back to armor, it's like class 2 is like 30k, and then like class 4s are like, what, 70k? You could probably get one on Ragman 2-ish.
They were, yeah.
I mean, I guess that one's like a little bit better in line, but I don't know. It's just something about just paying like 30k for, like, basically it's like barely quantifies as like anti-scav armor. You know what I mean? It just never really sat right with me.
Yeah, because I mean, they're 45 now, right? So
yeah.
So you buy the basic meds and a P.A.C.A. with no gun, and you've spent 90k.
That's crazy. Because you start out with like 500k, and then
Mhm.
if you die and heal, I mean, in base game it's like 30k. Well, I guess that's if you die as like a hatchling or something. I think it's like 30k ish. But you get free healing
Yeah, I
at the
mean it's
start.
free until level 5,
Yeah,
so
but then even
the
that's
game like lures
weird.
you in with the free healing, and then after level 5, you're not supposed to heal with therapists anymore. That's actually the meta way with
Yeah,
the cash. You're supposed to heal. So, but the game's like, oh, here we're going to teach you the mechanics. Like, hey, it's free healing. Now you have to pay for it, and you're like, okay, well, now you're supposed to not pay for that. By the way, new
right,
players,
right.
even though the game's just taught you that that's what you're supposed to do over the first 5
The
levels. It's like,
classic.
you're playing Portal, and it's just like, oh yeah, you have to look here and look here and look here, and it's just like, hey, now you're playing the real game, and like all the walls that you're supposed to put portals on are different. Just like, why? You spent the last like 5 levels teaching me how to play the game, and now it's just different. Why? Anyway, yeah, I mean that's just the classic idiosyncrasy of BSG design, but oh, it's a bit rough. But for one point, they're going to roll loaded this, but I think more players would have been incentivized to play, like, because there's a big casual audience for EFT. It's the lower 50 percentile of players who obviously like playing the game and want to play and still playing on PvP and haven't gone to PvE. There are people out there who want to do that and participate in the hardcore wipe and just experience it. But when everything's super hard to like get it, they've just made it a bit too hard to get into. I think this time it's like really, it's tough even for experienced players. Like new players just run out of stuff, and then the
Yeah,
scav cooldown is super long, and that's like there's no social security net left. It was an hour 15 first. It's now 45 minutes, but even that, it's like you do the scav, you do whatever, you come out, the cooldown's on, you go in as PMC, you die in 6 minutes, you come back out, you got 39 minutes left for your scav. It's just like, oh, it doesn't feel very good.
yeah,
There's like lots of ideas about shortening cooldowns for people who've got less than a certain amount of like stash value and whatever, which I think all like allow you to buy a base kit if less than like 5 stash value, or
yeah.
like
Those sound like fun
whatever. I
ideas.
think something like that would be okay, but again, with 1.0, it probably won't matter. This is like a one-off wipe, so less
Yeah,
bothered.
but to your
We'll
larger
kind of see
point,
how it
it is
goes.
just like, okay, now that I've experienced this and I'm having to deal with these new problems, it's like this is
Hmm.
like interesting stuff. It's like what, like, is there something to gain? Would we lose? It's fun. It's fun stuff to think about.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's kind of like, oh, this problem wasn't there before because it was fixed by like the safety nets that existed, and
Hmm.
they've gone like, oh, it's a hardcore wipe, and they've like removed the safety nets, so now people are again struggling, and it's tough for people. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's been interesting seeing it and just like doing it though. I'm glad BSG did the test, irrespective of whether people like it or not. I'm glad they tried it.
yeah, yeah. I don't think they ever would, but here we are.
Nope, indeed.
All right, Giga. I am super excited to tell you about some of these games I played.
Okay,
Last week I
hit me.
didn't get time to play some demos. I was busy grinding Deadlock this week. I did some demo playing. So first one is a co-op game. Actually, I played with a friend. It's called Backseat Driver. It's one of those games. I think in the title or description it talks about it, but it's like yeah, it says yelling is edible. Apologies are optional. The cards stay over. So you take turns, right? It's a two-player co-op game. You're driving this car. You're either the granny or you're like the grandson in the back seat. And if you're the granny, like all you can see, Giga, is the wheel. Like you can't see, like you can barely see the speedometer and stuff. I mean, you can see it, but you can't see above the dash. Like you can't actually see where you're going. Sometimes you'll be able to see like shapes of the parking garage and know you need to turn, but the steering is awful because it's like hypersensitive, right? And on top of that, it's like physics related. So like when the car shakes, sometimes the like steering wheel will like just come off, or like the pedals will just like come off. So you have to like pick them up and put them back in. It's so crazy. And so if you're in the back seat, you gotta like be giving directions, which is just
Oh,
like, yeah, it is. And I mean, and also there's like different stuff for the back seat to do. Like you have to like pay, like flip a coin outside the window into like a little ticket machine to get a ticket for your parking spot. But like you gotta like tell the granny like, okay, go forward a little bit backward, line it up just right because you can only throw so far. It's a fun game. Yeah,
that
backseat
looks
drivers.
hilarious.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
genuinely looks hilarious. It's like a great sort of party game to like swap in and out of.
yeah, exactly. Release date Q3 2025, but right now you can just go and play the demo, which is pretty cool. Next, I'm gonna switch up my own order here a little bit, but I want to tell you about Turbo Overkill. Now, some of you may have heard about this game because I think it's fairly, yeah, I mean, it's got 5,000 overwhelming positives, but I finally played it, the demo, because I think it's been out for a little bit, a couple years, it seems. And it's basically, boomer shooter. I love my boomer shooters. And you are set in this cyberpunk dystopian universe, and you have a chainsaw as a leg, which is absolutely amazing.
It's a good start.
It's so fun.
That's a good start.
I literally spent like 20 minutes just like messing about like with the mechanics, like jumping, sliding with my chainsaw leg, because I was just like, oh, this is like, I think I said to myself, like, I could just sit here and do this all day. Like, it's just so much fun. And yeah, it kind of reminds me a bit of like Doom level design. Like, it has that kind of old school but then it's also got like this Quake, particularly like Quake 2 enemy feeling design to it. Which are like, I don't know, like kind of just like run at you, like pretty basic, but anyways, very cool game. I actually haven't finished the demo, but if you like movement related shooters, boomer shooters, Ultra Kill, it's also kind of like similar to that. This is a very good game.
It looks crazy. It looks quite fun.
Yeah. And from the same developer, I learned that this is their latest
Who are these people
game.
called? Trigger Happy Interactive.
I think yes, that's the yes. The publisher is Apogee. And from the same, see, I don't know if it's a singular dev from Trigger Happy Interactive, or maybe it's a group, but their latest game is coming out Q4 of this year. It's called Total Chaos, which looks completely different. I mean, we went from like retro pixel style to like nightmare horror, spooky game, realistic style. And I saw this, I think this was in the game showcase during the Summer Games Fest or whatever.
Right.
And it's my wish list. Like, oh yeah, I'll check it out. So I finally played the demo, and my god, so it's survival horror, first person, and I played a few like pure horror games, and I have a hard time playing them because it's like the game wants you to progress, and like your reward for progressing is like learning the story and getting the shit scared out of you, right? Like that's basically it. Whereas like something like this, at least I can like fight. You know what I mean? Like I can fight back. And so it's got some amazing audio design, like genuinely just like first person horror related games are just like kind of awful to play. Like one thing's watching a movie, but like when you're moving the camera and you're in it, it's like it's a whole nother thing. And yeah, the audio design is just like really good. I don't know what engine it's using because it looks, it's probably Unreal, but I don't even know for sure. But the graphics look really good. And you got like a whole inventory system. You pull out a physical backpack, and you got like your grid inventory, and you got health, stamina, rotten apple does this, blah blah blah. There's a lot of like managing melee combat, gun combat. I don't think you get into that in demo. But man, there's this one sequence at the end, and spoilers, just like skip a minute if you plan on playing a demo. But at the end, you fall down this pit, and there's like this new enemy type, and it's like spider lady demon things, and they're all like stationary and like just surrounded. Like this scene right here, actually. And I was like, okay, game, I know what you're trying to do. Like, I'm gonna walk around, and one is gonna jump and grab me. I'm gonna be smart. I grab my brick and I throw it at them, and they all just like alert and then start chasing me. I was screaming, dude. And it got me, and it was like, that was the end of the demo, basically. I was like, oh, that was a really good sequence.
I like it when they kind of are, aware of like the player's kind of like experience. You know what I mean? It's like they understand that you've played these type of games before, and it's like, okay, well, how can you subvert the experience? You got to think on the next level. It's make this scene. It's like, what are people going to think of this scene? Like, and then how can we subvert people's expectation? That's how you make it good from from that perspective, when people have already played and like kind of savvy gamers kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it is a cool game. Very scary. Um, but yeah, if you think it might be your cup of tea, I like the survival horror mix. If it was just like pure horror, I don't think I could do it.
Mm.
Okay, yes, I did that. Let me do one more, and then I'm gonna talk about the game that I'm like absolutely infatuated with. But before I get to that, Perpetia, Perpetia, so this game is a immersive sim, which is kind of like those really old games you hear boomers talking about, like Deus Ex and I guess Bioshock, System Shock. Um, However, this game is just like truly like I don't even know. It's like chaotic in a sense. Like it's otherworldly. It reminds me of. Have you seen that one game called? I know it's in this Cruelty Squad. Have you ever
No.
seen or heard of this? Okay, it like you're looking at the stuff. It's just like very weird, bizarre looking graphic user interface, like almost like
It looks like
deep fried
90s
meme.
screensavers,
Yeah, it is very
that kind
right.
of deal.
So that's that game, but like this game is just like that similar feeling, but it's like extremely dark and dystopian, and it's crazy because the map is ginormous. Like I literally went into an apartment building, and I was like started in like somewhere in the middle, and I went up like 50 floors. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stop at the floor where I see this red light because that's probably lights in video games. That's where I need to go, and it's like nope. So I went all the way back down to like 80 floors at the bottom, and like I don't even like I had no clue what I was doing. It was just like complete loss. But something about the game is just like super interesting because it's like it brings back those classic immersive sims. However, it's got like a very distinct stalker kind of twist to it because you got like this very overt, Russian type. I guess what would be the word? Because there's like different factions. There's like Polish. There's
So like Eastern Europe kind of thing in
yes,
general.
exactly. And there's like Soviet era stuff, memorial, like just it's all in there. I didn't know what any of it meant, like, but it was just like the most. It just felt very stalker esque. So it was interesting. I mean, it had that sort of like jank to it. Like the game played fine, but like it didn't like hold my hand, which is like great because it's an immersive sim. Like, and it let me interact with the world any way I wanted to. I could just shoot the quest giver, which I don't know. I think oh yeah, I jumped behind the quest giver's uh counter, and like everyone got mad at me and started shooting at me. And I was like, well, I got to figure out how to progress some other way, which I like
I
stuff like
see.
that because it's like I played some other game, and I won't mention it, but it was just like it was going for a similar thing, and like I was just punching the NPCs at the start, and they were just reacting nothing. I'm just like, I can't get invested in your game if like the world's not going to react to me, and it's like immersive
Yeah.
sim is in the title. But anyways, Peripeteria. That's the game. Just yeah. Okay, the final one. All right. Man, I almost want to just like launch it up, just to like show you the gameplay raw because it is. This game blew my mind. Okay, so
Wow, look at the default PowerPoint presentation font. That's crazy. Or is that like Windows Media Maker or something?
yeah, I
Remember?
think it's like when I think it's a callback to like the early 2000s when people
Yeah.
post gaming videos online and would have that blue background of white font. This is 500 caliber contracts with a Z, and it's based. I think the simplest way to describe it is a platformer movement shooter because you play as this little guy, and you got a sniper rifle, and it's recommended to play on controller. Now I was like, I was like, are we sure about this? But I'm gonna get, I gave it a try because I'm just like, all right. And you basically start in this level, and it doesn't really tell you. I think it tells you maybe a few like different quests you could do in this level, like snipe the contract and collect the help whatever NPC. But I'm just sitting here, just like trying to learn the mechanics and controls, and I was absolutely stunned at like the level of depth within the mechanics. So like you you have your sniper, right, in which you can aim down the sight and like zoom in and shoot your target for like that's like one of your objectives, whatever. But that's like so irrelevant to what's the actual like part of the gameplay. Because normally you're like moving around, you're platforming, and then there's like again the controller. There's only so many buttons on this thing, right? But they got so many mechanics built into it. Like let's say there's a ledge you need to get to. I genuinely don't think I'm exaggerating. There's like 20 different ways you could get to that ledge from where you're from platform A to B, like 20 different ways you could go about it with the mechanics. It's insane, right? So look,
Why? What?
I'll give you an example, right? Okay, so you got your regular jump, right? And then that's your A button. Then your B button is like a punch. So when you're on the ground, you punch and you move a little forward. Well, when you jump in the air and then press B, you do a kick and that moves you a little bit forward, right? And then you can chain those jumps together. If you jump 3 times in a row on your third jump, you'll do like a super, very speedy jump, right? And now you're like zooming, right? And then you can shoot your sniper rifle. And when you shoot your sniper rifle in the air, you'll automatically shoot it behind you. You do like a 180, and that will propel you faster even more. And how that works on its own little sub mechanic, you have to land back on the ground for it to reload to like chamber the next one.
Okay.
So that's just like a couple different things, right? Then I was being goofy. I was like, oh, look at me, I went a 360 no scope, right? And then my character did a little twirly twirl, and he got a little extra airtime. Like, wait a minute. No, you did not. So there's another. If you need to get a little bit extra height, you jump. You can like kick to go a little bit higher, a little bit further, and then like do like a 360, and you do a twirl, and then you can like wall bounce, and then I found the craziest part, right? So I was like, well, what if I aim down the sights while I did the 360? It goes into bullet time mode, and you get like a. It's. I was just like, no way you not thought of this, Dev. No way. And I'm serious. I've probably how much time have I put into this? I have to check my library. Let's see. 106 minutes. I haven't even finished the last objective because it's actually very hard. You gotta like escape from the demon, but like just the main mechanics alone of the gameplay, and like I said, I was very skeptical at the start with like the controller stuff. But as I like played it and like things started clicking, I was like, okay, you know what? Someone cooked here. Someone cooked here. I can see the
It's
vid of
like
the
nearly
controller.
2 hours of just mechanics fiddling.
I'm serious. Like that's been the most fun is like just discovering. And then I found out in like um because when you launch the game, it basically takes you to like a 3D render of like a monitor, like an old CRT monitor, and you interact with desktop icons to like start a level or whatever. But there was like a tips and trick dot MOV video that you could play, and it had a few extra mechanics. But yeah, I mean, there's just like the mechanics alone was like fascinating. Like I'm absolutely number one biggest fan right here. The game itself though is like I don't know, it's a little interesting, a little like very like dystopian, kind of like dark and edgy as well, because there is like I think there is like a content warning for self harm, which you can like toggle on and off, but also just like this weird like 90s aesthetic kind of thing of like Windows XP looking stuff. Like, it's got a very distinct art style as well. But yeah, I mean, I basically I want to play it now. Now I'm talking about it because it's just like it was so good, dude. It was so good.
That is crazy. What was
Yeah,
that one from the other week that was the
the
one about the
taxi
kingdom?
about the kingdom, Nine Kings,
That was the one,
or
yeah. I'd forgotten which one it was. Yeah, it reminded me now. I was like, that was probably the one that like piqued my interest the most out of all of them so far.
yeah,
I was like,
I can see that.
but I never got a chance to check it out because it was the wipe and stuff. So
Yeah.
interesting. No, it's yeah, it's fun. There's so much good stuff out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's the time of the indie dev is here. Definitely.
I think so. I mean, there's a couple different YouTube channels I've been watching recently that some of them are a little bit more on like the rage baity side, like these AAA game developers are, the literal
Trash. Yeah.
devil. Yeah. But I mean, there's just like, man, I guess just like accessibility for like game dev and whatnot has just been even like modding. I was looking at Halo Halo
Mm,
mod. My YouTube algorithm is like cursed right now of just like indie games and mods. Yeah. Some like Halo Combat Evolved, like the first Halo mods that like reimagine like a remaster. Because the game's already been
yeah.
remastered, but people got issues with it, so this is like the fan remaster, and it's like, oh, look what one person can do that Microsoft $1 billion corporation can do. But it's just cool because a lot of times it's just like it really does come from like some of these projects are just like passion driven, like they don't have to deal with like the corporate things that come with like boardroom meetings, quotas, or whatever. You know, like there's a
Yeah.
lot that comes with that territory. I mean, it's a give and take, right? Now you got all these
Mhm.
assets, but now you got everything else that comes with that. I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting. I guess that's the thing. You need like passionate people with an idea. It's different if you're doing like a corporate project. Like you can that's the thing. You can make a big game and obviously your like high level game developers or whatever need to be passionate about the project, but you can just have like people working on like 3D assets or whatever. That's just like they turn up, they do their job, they go home. It's like more,
Mm-hmm.
it's like these indie things, like one person with a crazy idea and they just go, yeah, I'm gonna build it, and then they use like it's like them, caffeine, and Chat GPT. They managed to hack this thing together, and they're like, yo, this is great.
Yeah,
That's awesome. It's good. It's a good time. It's
it
a good
is
time.
cool. All right, I think that's going to conclude. Unless you got anything else for before we close, Giga.
Nope, I think we're good. I think we're good.
Okay. Well, carry on, carry on. We'll see you all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
We'll catch you later.